and welcome to the Old Man Orange podcast. I'm Spencer Scott Holmes.
And I'm Ryan Dunigan.
And we're going back in time with a script that was totally unproduced for, well, there's many reasons involved why it did kind of not get produced, but like many kind of neat things lost in time, it's fun to go back and look at what could have been at some point, you know? And in this one, we decided, let's do the Justice League Mortal script, the one that would have been, well, came out, I think, 2007, 2008. So they were shooting for a movie, I think, 2009, 2010? Is that what it was?
Yeah, I think they're aiming for 2009 or 10.
Yeah.
Around there. So this was going to be... Because here's the thing. When this came out, and I'll be honest, I wasn't... I was still big into movies, but I didn't really know names off the top of my head as well as others. So they're saying, well, George Miller will be directing this Justice League movie coming out. And just, people just having a fucking bias. They're just like, oh, well, what George Miller direct? Happy Feet? Like, oh, that is fucking stupid. They didn't feel the need to bring up, oh, he also made Mad Max. So
1, 2, 3 at that time period.
Yeah, so I was just like, wait, what? They're getting the guy playing Happy. This is also when you're a little younger. I was in my early 20s, so I was way more like, still had a little bit of that, like, how do I put it?
You're kind of like I need to be like Leonard Maltin to be a little bit more like cynical towards things and judge things a little bit more harshly.
A little bit, especially when it's like, so like...
I love to say, it's like, how many kids are like, you know what, I need to be more like Leonard Maltin.
Well, not like kids. You're like talking like 21, 22.
Funny saying it like that, though.
How many 12-year-old kids are like reading like Leonard Maltin guides, just going off that, like living by it? Yeah.
That guide was kind of like a sort of a Bible for a while there, that Leonard Maltin movie guide. I use that to find all sorts of movies.
Then you come across it like Blade Runner. Why does Blade Runner only have a 1, Leonard Maltin? What's wrong with Blade Runner? There's always like...
There's 3 movies I found in the 80s that all have a 1.5, and they're all movies that I think are like pure perfect, and Leonard Maltin gives them a 1.5, and that's Blade Runner, Scarface, the 80s one, and Roadhouse. I'm like, oh, okay, Leonard. It must have just been an off day. That's all I can assume.
He gave Cowboy Bebop 3, so that was cool.
Yeah.
But a 3 out of 4. But then, it's like, well, yes, you can't get them all. And then he's like, Dark... I remember the one that got to bring it back to DC Comics. He says, like, Dark Knight, he only gave it like a 2 out of 4. And it was one of those things, suddenly in a non-futuristic city, unlike the first one. I'm like, dude, I know that you see a lot of movies, but they were in the ghetto. They're in that part of town in the first one. They go to the other part of Gotham. Okay, whatever,
Yeah, it's one of those ones. Like, I feel like it probably is that thing. If you watch so many movies, it just happens. You just have an off day, and it's just like, fuck it.
He said some shit like, Ledger gave an amazing performance, but it's almost too dark and too sinister to really enjoy. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about?
It's the Joker.
I could watch a whole movie with him stabbing people in the eye with pencils.
Yeah.
I have 2.5 hours of just that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not even directed by Eli Roth.
Yeah, exactly. But I'd take the Eli Roth Batman movie. That sounds amazing. I never even put 2 and 2 together, but now hearing that out loud, I'm sold.
Bet he likes. I could see him being like, he either likes Batman. I can see him being, he's either a big fan of Batman or he's just like weird, like Quentin Tarantino. Like, he's never a big fan of Batman. I always liked Marvel's The Master of Kung Fu. Or, I can see Luke Cage. Luke Cage makes sense. But I can see him just liking the weird, oddball shit,
I could see that, too. Actually, really quickly, speaking of comics, I just wanted to say this because I know I'd forget if I didn't say it right now. But I got Pizza Boys issue 7 finally out. And you can get that on Comix Central and Amazon Kindle. And I thought I should just mention that before it got too late.
Well, this is a very comics-heavy podcast and in a way, comics-heavy episode. So, and I read it. That was pretty good. I won't stay on it too long because I know I don't want to give too much away. But I'll say this: your character you did without spoiling it. The character you did for that like Smokey the Bear / don't like give a hoot,
the Woodsy
Owl. Woodsy Owl. The thing you did for that new character you made, where it's this guy who works the fire station but never leaves, like never takes off the mascot suit, and he's almost like the guy commanding everything. Something about that. I think he made a really funny character that's like not even trying to be funny. It's just like because he says and does some like weird, creepy things, but he always has like this wide-eyed smile and the outfit.
Well, because it's like a mascot, so I feel like it's like the eyes are never gonna change. The mouth's just always gonna have that slightly open look.
But you do a good job, like, just something about it's just always off-putting. And without spoiling what it is, I thought the homage you make with that owl is probably one of the funniest parts of the whole book. But it's also, the thing I like about that issue is you do a good, it's interesting because it doesn't focus on the pizza boys. It's almost outside perspective, looking in at them and kind of critiquing them, is also addressing the town itself. So I think that was interesting way to go about it.
Yeah, it's like kind of like the outside perspectives on the whole boys and so on. And then the secondary story is, of course, it's like a Cisco one where he's going around collecting all like the service hats of the world and saying, hey, wait a second, I can get coupons and discounts if I wear veterans hats and army hats and police hats and so on.
Just doesn't seem far off from the real Cisco.
No, it's just a free coupon, you know, he's going to take that. But no, I had fun with that. I'm finally glad that's kind of done, which just only means I got to finish up the next one before I can put the next graphic novel together. One of those things.
Looking forward to the next one. So because some of it's like, I mean, this one wasn't like, I wasn't like, neither, like, well, I could say this, like, neither of our characters, my character wasn't a big part of this one, which I understand, because it's one of those things you can't, be in all of them. But at the same time, so I couldn't really...
Well, our characters were the main star of the last two, so that's why they're...
Yeah. But there's like those ones where you're a part of it, so you kind of like, oh, I remember this time when this happened. So this was interesting for me, because I didn't know where it was entirely going, because it wasn't based on anything that you and I were involved with.
Uh-huh.
So... For those who are just tuning in, Spencer makes a comic that's lightly inspired off, late high school, early college.
Yeah.
But without it being like a college, like, themed comic or anything like that.
No, yeah, it just kind of has all stories of life that you turn them to 11. One of those things.
And that's probably came out like conceited for a second. It was like, this one didn't have me in it, so it wasn't as good. Like that.
Good. Need me to be on the cover. I wasn't even on the cover this time. What the fuck?
Well, it was one of those things like when looking at it, it's like when you see yourself in it, you kind of like, all right, well, I'm in this. It's going in this direction. Well, no, not even that. Well, this one's really good. What'd you do? I just fucking took Dunny out of it. A fucking speed bump. Well, I noticed because if I'm in, I'm like, well, I know what he would write for that character or that version of me, so it's kind of interesting. So it's like I've kind of, and plus it's lightly based off real life events to an extent, to an extent. So I'm like, oh, he's gonna bring this up. Oh, that motherfucker, he totally brought that up. And then, so this one, since I didn't know what to expect, since some of it I was like, okay, yeah, I remember that time with Cisco. So yeah.
Yeah, exactly, one of those ones. But yeah, if you want, check out Pizza Boys. That's Pizza Boys with a Z. As I said, you can find that on Comix Central and Amazon Kindle. And, I'll be getting it up on Comixology when that comes. That just kind of comes when it does. That takes its sweet time. I feel like that's the shit-in job that you get if you want to go work at Comixology. They're like, oh, put together these indie people's comics. Get to it whenever you feel like it. It's not that important. They're not, they're not Batman,
they're not real
Superman,
people.
So it ain't that important. Let's just say it right here and there.
Oh, going back to Pizza Boys just for a second, I also really like how you, even though it's Cisco centric, you really gave Kyle a moment, and I thought that was interesting. Yeah, you see the side of Kyle you don't see in any of the previous books. Side that we both know is there, but people reading before are like, oh, Kyle can do that? Oh, I didn't know Kyle could do that.
Yeah, it definitely adds more dimension to Kyle to kind of go along with it, let alone also adding a bunch to, like, Audrey is too, who's in there, which the next one actually is sort of, well, it's got all 5 of us in it, but I guess I feel like it comes from, like, the main character perspective of Kyle for Pizza Boys issue 8.
Okay, that'll be interesting. Well, from what you told me, I'm like, yeah, that sounds like something Kyle would have dragged us to. So
it's literally a Kyle dragging you into it kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. I'm guessing he's going there to fuck something, and then sure enough, yeah. I'm guessing, but we'll see what happens.
It's got that kind. So I was writing a scene today where it's like what Kyle was talking about. Like, do you remember like the fucking parties at the Y? Like they were so cool, they were so great. When Kyle does it, it feels like it's like a Motley Crue music video where he's just like having the greatest time, and he's like dressed like Stifler or something like that, you know. And he's like up on like the truck. He's like, I'm like singing like Motley Crue songs and stuff top of his lungs, like hanging out with all kinds of girls and so on. And then it just cuts to like Cisco. So actually, let me tell you how it actually was. It just goes. It's really like not that exciting looking. Looks really boring. Kyle's still having a hell of a time, but it's not the same reaction that he thought he was getting. He's up singing karaoke, but he's the only one singing. Everybody else is like, God, that guy shut up. Why is he singing at the top of his lungs out of his truck?
He's singing Guar fucking an animal.
I literally put the throwing the darts at the broken dartboard. It's like, did you ever think it was kind of weird that they just dropped off a dartboard here, like in the middle of the woods? Like, I don't know, it's like the same thing with this couch that they got sitting here too. They just dropped their trash off, and we are throwing darts at the broken dartboard.
A matter of time for that made it into something.
So, it's all working its way there and so on, and it all takes place during the snow, pretty much, except for I guess the flashbacks. There's like flashbacks in it, flashbacks and memories, those kind of things. But I try to keep it somewhat simple. I'll see what it turns out to be. I'm not too sure.
Well, I look forward to reading it, and issue 7's really good.
So, yeah. Issue 7. Issue 7's out there for any and all who want to go and grab that. But, going back to 2007, look at all Rams, do the Justice League Mortal script. The Justice League, where it actually has, like, almost all the Justice League people in it just right off the bat. It's not like one of those ones, like, we're going to build up to it. It's like, fuck it, we're there. You know what I mean? Like, this is the thing, too, when I read this script, I'm like, it feels like there was, like, literally, like, previous movies beforehand, but there wasn't previous movies beforehand. But I almost like how they just, treat it that way.
Well, I think that's in some way a strength. In other ways, I think it's kind of clunky. And it's not... I think there's totally... Because people gave DC a lot of shit for trying to jumpstart their universe. And part of me kind of understands that. Another part of me, though, is like, no, there's a way to do it. Maybe they didn't hit all the right notes. But, I mean... You already saw Marvel build it up over the course of 10 years. So I feel like just watching them slowly build everything up again, like, wait, we gotta form a team? Like that kind of thing. I feel like people kind of see a lot of that coming. So I can understand trying to jumpstart it and trying to move it along a little quicker. But at the same time, they didn't really hit all the right notes. And they had some weird choices here and there. This one, because initially what they were trying to do was just open up a Justice League movie, and they're going to finish up Dark Knight universe was going to be its own separate thing, and you're going to have this, and then every character would get their own film franchise branched off through this. And I don't think that's a bad idea, but I mean, the script, I'll say, it feels kind of awkward because the storyline they're picking for it, Tower of Babel, which is one of the heavy inspirations for it, it seems kind of like a weird first choice for a script because most of the characters are like incapacitated or fucked up before they have a chance to throw a punch, and that goes on for like roughly like the first half, some characters until the third act.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, but it's still pretty cool all at the same time, kind of going into it. But yeah, it's the weird. To me, I just thought it was the weird one. It's like, oh, that's actually kind of a ballsy choice, and this is probably why it's just a script and never turned into a movie. Is the fact that like, oh, you just kind of jump in there like, this is how I always feel superhero movies should be, because I look at a lot of characters, I kind of go like, you know what, they're sort of timeless classics that I think everybody kind of has an idea. Everybody kind of has an idea who Batman is. They have an idea who Superman is, and it goes the same thing with Marvel, Spider-Man, Captain America, and so on. Like, this is always kind of like, I like this way, where it's like, boom, we're starting off right off the bat. We got the Justice League here. They're all here to party. We're going to have a fucking good time. And then we might have some solo movies as time goes on. Instead of like the Marvel very slow build-up, which I know, granted, everybody seems to like the Marvel slow build-up. But I kind of like this thing, how it's just like, boom, it's all here. Like, what, you don't know who Green Lantern is? Go fuck yourself. Oh, guess what? There was another Green Lantern? He's dead. Oh, you didn't know that? Well, there's a memorial park for him. Go fuck yourself. It's just like, oh, okay.
That's the tagline for the movie.
Justice League Mortal. Don't know who this is? Go fuck yourself.
I just like the idea, one of the Green Lanterns dead. There's a memorial park for him. Go fuck yourself. Standing next, like, there's this whole, like, Alex Ross style, like, inspired picture of all of them standing there, arms on their hips, and then Justice League Mortal. One of the Green Lanterns died. There's a memorial park for him. Go fuck yourself.
See, this
Are
is
we sure about that? That seems a little aggressive for the first movie out. Oh, don't worry. It's going to raise a lot of questions, but it's going to sell a lot of tickets.
well, really, in Alex Ross, it seems like almost if you wanted to like give this movie like one of those like 70s kind of style posters, like Alex Ross would probably do a pretty sweet one for like, you know, a Justice League movie instead of going with like the live action characters or always just, you know, someone's face. Because that's always the weird thing you think about with like so many movie posters. Like when you really look at a movie poster, it tells you almost nothing about a movie. It's just someone's face mostly just kind of looking. Maybe they're looking stern. Maybe they look confused. Maybe they're kind of looking to the side. Maybe they got a gun up to their like face. So you're like, oh, there must be action then if there's a case, you know? It's so weird how posters sometimes are designed.
Well, Alex Ross, his art style, it reminds me a lot of, well, I mean, makes sense because he did the, whatchamacallit, he did the Flash Gordon cover, but he seems like somebody who would have done, because it's that very dynamic, it's like superhero characters is what he does, he's an art comic book artist, but it's very dynamic and very realistic looking outfits. And the thing is, I'm surprised he didn't really get him to do more like posters of like there's illustrated posters you see like in a lot of movies from the 80s or Steven Spielberg movies, something like that.
Yeah, people, it kind of has a comeback because it seems like every couple months I see another movie that has that kind of retro style poster. Like the Johnny Knoxville movie last year had that type of poster to it, you know. I know. It's like the weirdest one. Let me tell you which one had that poster last. Alex, there's a job here. The Johnny Knoxville movie. You should have been on it. Where were you?
Well, I know he had the, whatchamacallit, he had the Ready Player One, but that makes sense. That movie's meant to be like a throwback. Mm-hmm. So, yeah, I mean, if you look at his stuff long enough, you'll see stuff. I mean, it's still comic. Like, you'll see Red Sonja or Spawn or something like that. But usually it's Marvel and DC and whatnot. But anyway, reading this, though, I got a lot of imagery of his artwork. That's what a lot of it came to mind. Maybe because there's a little bit of inspiration of Kingdom Come. Because when it opens up, there's a funeral going on. And we see
it's like S.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. I mean, and this isn't so much me complaining about the story. It's me just, I don't know. Now that we're doing kind of like a little bit more script-focused episodes, you see different script writing styles. And I get kind of like, after a while, you have like the whole, like, as if it's like it's not a narrator, but you have the stage direction. S, the most popular, well-known letter of this universe. Coming in, we see Superman flying through Metropolis, almost weightless, but no one's there. Like that kind of like, you know, just
he's flying. Very... He has no pants on. It's one of those dreams.
What are they going to do about it? He's Superman.
So what? It's like, you know, you have that dream when you wake up, you come to school with no clothes on. Superman has that same dream flying around Metropolis.
It's like literally that level of I don't know. Because it's like one of those things that we were going over the Jurassic Park script. It was just like, suddenly they bust in. Bam, 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 bam. Swim, shwam, shwam. There's a lot of that kind of shit in this script, too.
Comes out of me. He goes up, he kicks him in the balls, like, oh! Just like very intense.
And this has a lot of that in it, too. So, I mean, the story isn't bad. I mean, there's some weird choices in it, but it's kind of like a lot of that kind of direction. I feel like I'm being a really negative bitch on this episode so far.
Yeah, shit, fucking Kieran Mulroney and fucking Michelle Mulroney are getting like fucking pissed off already because these are the people that wrote it. They're like, fuck, geez, you haven't even got into you got to the letter S and you're already talking smack.
I guess it's one of those things, I don't know, I'm just like, let's just read the stage direction, let's just read the thing, let's get, you know, if I want to read a novel, I'll read a novel. I guess that's my thought process. At the same time, though, maybe it's some shit to kind of like, these producers, they're all coked out. You need something to grab their attention.
Yeah, well, I feel it's that kind of thing, it's like, you sort of, I guess if you're pitching a script, you sort of need that in there. It's a little bit different than if you're just kind of like making a movie and you're kind of there to explain it to people and fill it in. Because sometimes I always feel like, you know, like I like to have just that little bit of like, you know, to explain what a scene is, but like not so much. It feels like, yeah, once it starts to turn into like a novel, I feel like, okay, now I feel like I'm going to a different format here. But this one's not too bad, but it is definitely a little bit more wordier than a normal script, I will say. Mm-hmm. But it's not really a bad thing, though. I mean, it still kind of works. I mean,
I guess it's one of those things like something like Robert Rodriguez script. Like I read the Planet Terror scripts, that book you have actually.
Oh yeah.
And just flip through that, and you know he'll have like some kind of he'll have a little bit of extra flourish in there, kind of like suddenly we realize what's with the jar of what looks like pickled. What was it? There's probably cuts the dude's balls off. And he has like a jar of
like pickled balls.
Yes, it's like it looks like pickled something. He's like, we should realize what those are. So it's one of those kind of things. Like it's like okay, all right, you know, he doesn't like beat you over the head, or it's like what's his name? Another guy who's really good, I think. God, what's his name? I'm trying to blank on his name. He's one of the best Lethal Weapon. Jack Black. The Jack Black.
No, Shane Black.
Shane Black. A few pounds off. Like shave a few pounds off him. Yeah.
But
Shane Black.
Well, it's that sort of thing because I think that's always the weird thing too about scripts is like they're not really meant for like general purpose like reading. It's meant more for like just a bunch of people standing around the camera knowing what the hell's going on. That's how I kind of always feel. So sometimes there's some of those things where it's like, okay, I know it's just there to sort of explain what the hell's going on, and then there's some people it's like I feel it's got that sort of novel sense. Like they're almost like, hey, if this script doesn't make it, I'm fucking putting it into a book and selling it. Go fuck yourself, guys.
Pretty much. So it opens up, there's a funeral going on, and it gets across that we see like just images, like flashes and corners of like different superheroes. We don't know who it is, but we know that Batman's not there. So it's like, oh yeah.
It's one of those ones like where it says like the S, it's like S. You know, it's like it's a single letter. Just 1 out of 26 in the alphabet. But maybe the most iconic letter on Earth. Fuck that noise. Just comes swinging by like a spray can, just a big old B across the S.
The only letter that really fucking matters.
Yeah,
Batman, bitch.
And yeah, Batman's one letter.
It's taking over for B.
Yeah, it ain't B anymore. It's just Batman now. So when kids are in school, they go A, Batman, C.
So what ends up happening is they then just jumps back a few days previous. Apparently, world peace was just reached. Wonder Woman is giving a speech at the UN, like, "Hey, look what I did! Aren't I fucking awesome?
I made world peace. I did it. I got the award." It's like, oh, well,
all me, just me.
She started getting to the Meryl Streep acting up there now, and she got an award in her hand.
Oh,
that was like the post where it's like, I did it. I said yes. I said yes. I am so proud. I will never do another thing in my life again because I said yes.
We did all the work, but I said yes.
I said yes, though. Who said yes? You didn't say yes. Did you?
No, I asked you to say yes, and I did.
Look at me.
You should be grateful. No, so going on to this, and then we cut back. We see. I think this is actually out of Kingdom Come. Isn't that Planet Krypton food chain? Isn't that in Kingdom Come actually?
God, is that? It's been. I haven't read that book in a long time.
There's a part when they go in and they're just like, "Are you serious?" Like when they're all out of suit, but they're like, "Are you serious?" And they go into like some tacky superhero themed restaurant.
It's literally supposed to be like Planet Hollywood, but Planet Krypton. And I just love it. It's like, "Hey, welcome to Planet Krypton. What can I take your order?" And it's like, for some reason, this is like Flash's favorite fucking hangout.
And they get across he has high metabolism, so he eats really quickly. So
I do like how they get that because you don't see that like really in too many like Flash incarnations other than the comic book. And then I guess the TV show has it.
The comic book and the cartoon. Does the TV show, is he always eating a lot? I don't think the TV show eats a whole lot.
He does in that one. I mean, like maybe not all the time, but enough that you know that that's there.
I guess I haven't seen I haven't seen the CW one in a while, so I don't remember if he eats a whole lot. But
yeah, I haven't seen it since like I only saw the first 2 seasons, I guess.
Yeah, I haven't seen it since season 3 roughly. But anyway, so going on from there, we then see like we cut back to Denver, Colorado, which I think he actually already might be in that area, and Martian Manhunter, who is John Jones in his own in his alter ego. He's on a crime scene, and he's trying to figure something out. He's trying to figure out, like, he goes somewhere, and there's, like, the most weirdest random thing. There's, like, a weird seahorse thing in a jar. He opens it up, it spits something on him, he just immediately catches fire.
Oh, Jesus! Oh, fuck it! Then I don't know what it is. His first reaction is to get in his car and try to drive home. I don't know. That was the part that was, like, so weird. It's like, he's on fucking fire. He's just flaming, burning out. And he's like, oh shit, you know what I gotta do? I gotta make it fucking home.
Well, he's Martian Manhunter. You think he just fly, but he's just like, no, let me get in the fucking car.
He's driving like 90 miles per hour, and all I picture is Martian Manhunter fucking driving down the road, 90 miles per hour, flames shooting out. He's looking like fucking Ghost Rider going down the road.
Well, there's the Aqua Teen Hunger Force movie, and the movie's not that great, but there's the part where there's the chicken who's always on fire. It just stand there, whoa, whoa, just stand there. It's like always on fire whenever they walk in a room, just on fire, screaming. I just kind of imagine that.
Well, I gotta say this really quickly just because I went past this part. I love how like when Flash is in like the restaurant or whatever, and it talks about like all the staff there. It's like the Green Lantern waitresses and the Wonder Woman waitress, and then there's the Aquaman busboys, and then there's a Martian Manhunter tends bar, not just anything, just a Martian Manhunter tends.
Well, I think that even might be a reference to Dark Knight Strikes Back, because Martian Manhunter was the bartender for all the superheroes would go. There's that old secret.
Oh, that's right.
There's that old secret bar that Jimmy Olsen would go and, like, pick at minds of the old superheroes. They always talk about Batman and yeah. So that was kind of a cool little reference. I'm assuming maybe that's just a little coincidence, but yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one right there. I mean, that one's.
They know their. I'll say this: they know their DC history in this. They make a lot of interesting pulls.
Oh yeah, they totally do, and so on. And I guess going back to Martian Manhunter driving down the road at 90 miles per hour on fire, and so on. And then it's like, I think what it does is just, it keeps cutting back to, like, Barry and Iris, like, at that, like, they really need to get across this, like, they're like, shit, we might be able to sell some of these planet Kryptons. Make sure you get that in the script quite a few times. Like, if they're gonna eat anywhere, it's a planet Krypton. Nobody goes to any other restaurant anymore.
We're really banking on this, like, Bubba Gump style promotion.
Yeah, exactly. That's so what it feels like, because they go to this place a lot, and Barry's always there. Like, literally, like, later on the story...
The staff kind of knows him.
Yeah, it's like they do and stuff. And they're like, oh, that's okay. He's like, yeah, high metabolism, you know me. Hey, you in the Flash costume, make it snappy. I haven't heard that one before. Bet you haven't. Gonna hear it again tomorrow. Oh!
He's like Norm from Cheers, just everyone knows him.
Yeah, exactly. And Iris is always like,
shit, here comes the guy from the OC.
Like, Iris...
That's who was gonna play him originally.
Yeah, I know, exactly. They have like an interesting roster of like all the people who's gonna play.
It was Adam Brody, who was gonna play Flash, and which it's not. I can kind of see after being Adam Brody here, and he's Barry Allen. Like that's different. But here and they were gonna start with him, kind of see how eventually they get to Ezra Miller.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess you can kind of see how that goes, and Yeah, they had, like, I don't even know who this guy is, but the DJ Cortana, which just sounds like DJ Cortana, like, almost like if that's, like, Cortana's, like, side gig in, like, Halo.
Who knows? Yeah, I mean, it's probably easy for her to mix tunes and beats and samples and all that.
Yeah.
She get away with copyright shit. She knows how to hack through all that.
Yeah, exactly. You're not going to have a problem there.
You know who that guy was, I think? I think that was the guy. Remember we went to go see G.I. Joe 2?
Okay.
Don't ask me how I know this. He's like the one guy with zero, like, instead of a personality, he knew parkour. He's that guy.
Oh, okay, yeah. Oh, okay. Because I was looking there and, like, some of these things, I'm like, who the fuck is that guy? I'm like, it's like, oh, he's in Windfall. I'm like, what the fuck is Windfall?
Yeah, because he was like, something, man, I'm in this G.I. Joe movie, and really, it's okay. I mean, I don't really have a whole lot to do other than parkour, and that's mostly the stunt guy. But you know what? Justice League is going to come through.
Yeah, this is banking on that Justice League one. Superman all the way.
That's gotta sucked, because this movie got canceled just a few, like, weeks before production. So that's gotta suck to know, like, I'm fucking Wonder Woman, or I'm fucking Batman, or I'm the motherfucking Superman. Just know you're that close. And, like, yeah, Warner Brothers got cold feet.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like, oh, okay, yeah. That's what's happening, and so on. Well, that's it.
I was almost Wonder Woman. So now whenever, like, a new one of these movies comes out, they're just like, fuck, I don't need to remember.
Yeah, exactly. I bet you it's kind of, like, hard to go see another one. But whatever, Barry's back at his local hangout. Like, you know what I mean? I'm surprised it's like he's here. And it's like, it kind of goes to show that Barry has sort of, like, he knows of, like, the Justice League, and it's like he, like, sort of worked with them, like, as, like, a freelance contractor once, but, like, he's not really pals yet.
Well, the Justice League's not a thing. They're all aware of each other, and they all might kind of either they know of each other or they maybe bump shoulders once or twice.
Yeah.
But the Justice League is not a thing yet.
Well, I guess it just seems like it's like Batman, Wonder Woman, Superman, like all Aquaman. They all have like, you know, regular card game nights and so on. Barry just...
I wouldn't say that. I'd say they just seem like they just kind of know of each other. Like Superman and Wonder Woman definitely know each other. They definitely know each other. And it seems like Aquaman's like, he's like, well, I like the princess, but she likes guys who can fly.
Yeah. Princess? Well, that's what I like. It's like, Aquaman's like, fuck off. Well, we'll get there when we get to that point, I guess. We're jumping ahead already. But, whatever. Back to, now it's going to cut from, like, Barry Allen at the restaurant back to, like, Martian Manhunter driving 90 miles per hour in his car. Once again, I don't know why he's driving in a car on fire.
I'm just like, we're like, we got to sell a toy off this. Let's just sell. You got the
Remember
Batmobile.
the Incredible
Let's
Crash Dummies? Well, shit, we got a Martian Manhunter version now.
Spray paint that shit green.
And then it cuts back. Then it's like, next it's like, till we get to like Brother Eye. It's like outer space, and there's like a satellite floating around. And then it's like deep in the dark undergrounds of Batman. And he's just sitting there like, it's like, all it describes like the massive computer with 10-foot video monitors. He's unshaven, feet up, beer in one hand.
Dick in the other.
On the screen, there's an image of Barry and Iris in Planet Krypton.
just like one image of Barry biting into a burger on a loop. Like, yeah.
Just going to town. Then he's scared by Alfred coming in.
It's like, oh, fuck!
Mr. Wayne, your birthday
guests
guests have been waiting for the last 3 hours upstairs. 2 of them have already humped the couch. I'm not cleaning it tomorrow. That is your job. You can never pay me enough to clean that one.
I have to knock first, Alfred. Fuck! He's adjusting his pants.
Shit. It's like, well, get in there. It's like, you're gonna have to take the batsuit off. Oh, God, I'll take it off in the elevator.
This is fucking bullshit.
It's like, Master Bruce, you gotta shave. Shave too. Whatever. Fucking birthday parties.
Help me shave.
Fucking shit.
I'll go back to watching food porn.
Yeah. I was watching Barry Allen eat a burger, corn dog, 6 wings, a pie. Shit, he was going to town on this. Iris only had a chicken Cobb salad. And Barry ate half of it.
You just gotta just be like, all right, first notes on the first draft. We ultimately like it, but why is Batman jerking off to them eating lunch? I think that it's trying to start off with something new. You know, you said everyone has their own Batman? This one's mine.
Yeah. And we decided you have a beer in one hand. Coincidentally, this has nothing to do with that drunk Batman that appeared on YouTube.
I think Keaton, he's really the... He's kind of the Batman that evolves to whatever situation. Like, he's void of a personality, but he just kind of evolves. Like, he's analyzing everything. Val Kilmer is a little bit more the aloof Batman. Clooney is, well, he's fucking Clooney. Bale, he's more the anguish, more angry Batman. Our Batman, he's going to be the food porn kind of Batman.
That's the new look we're going for.
Yeah.
It relates to this audience of 2009 when it comes out.
These kids, you gotta catch their attention with something.
Yeah, you know what I mean? With all this Newground shit and stuff going on, if you don't got somebody jerking off in the corner, kids ain't gonna watch it.
It's true. No, then he goes up there, and then Maxwell Lord, who's gonna be played by Jay Baruchel.
Huh.
Yeah, I know, that's an interesting choice.
Yeah.
Which I can kind of see, like, starting with Jay Baruchel from Maxwell Lord, and then leading into, like, Jesse Eisenberg to Lex Luthor. I can kind of see how that thought process led to that.
Yeah, you kind of see how these things sort of come to, like, later. It's kind of just like that Jurassic Park script that we read, you know? You kind of read it, and you kind of go, well, I see where a lot of these things were kind of, like, pulled from to go for Jurassic Park 4 and 5, you know what I mean? And that's kind of how this script sort of... I mean, this one's still radically different, but, like, you can see where some things kind of, like... I see where that kind of, like, led into in another incarnation later down the line. Well, and then as this is kind of going on too, and it has like a lot of these cutbacks where it's like Brother Eye, and it's just like what Brother Eye is watching, and I'm not like makes it feel like it's supposed to be just like this like scary kind of thing, like this always watching, always doing.
It seems like maybe kind of like a statement on the Patriot Act, kind of.
Yeah, exactly. Just like it's watching Green Lantern. He's demonstrating to a bunch of kids in a classroom. He's watching Clark Kent. He's putting his glasses on. They're shiny. They look good. Oh, he's watching Martian Manhunter drive down the road at 90 miles per hour on fucking fire.
He's still gotta go to a party.
Yeah. Martian Manhunter's like, I ain't fucking missing it. Even if I'm on fire, I told him I'd still show up.
Well, I'm saying that's the reason why Bruce Wayne's like, I should do some of the Martian Manhunter thing, but I got a party to go to. So.
Yeah, it's my birthday party, so fuck Martian Manhunter. Shit, he's got to deal with his own problems at some point.
Can't expect me just to bat in, take care of whatever's. Yeah. No, so then going forward from there, Maxwell Lord's there, and very quickly, Max Lord is there. We learn that he runs that Planet Krypton restaurants, and then Talia al Ghul comes in. He's just like, rumor has it Talia al Ghul is like the remember that international terrorist Ra's al Ghul? That's his daughter. Batman beat him, and she totally had a thing for him. And it's like exposition real quick. Let's get all the let's just get this out of one.
That's what I like about those. It's like it literally just kind of catches you up to speed if you just didn't know who that was, but without having to draw on it for too long. You know what I mean? Or have this long ass build up where you're like, oh, who's Talia? Oh, we have to be racial. It's like no, that's who it is. Let's get it over with. Done. Move on.
It just lightnings through that. Lightnings through the... I can't talk today. Anyway, so moving on, and then I think what ends up happening is Barry is trying to help out Martian Manhunter, and then that's when Wonder Woman comes in. We get across early on, because we're watching the news, Barry kind of has a small thing for Wonder Woman. Like, he's not, he's of course married to Iris, but he's like, hey, what can I say? She's fucking hot.
Yeah. Well, Iris always like, I just don't understand that Wonder Woman. I get the Green Lantern. I get the Martian Manhunter. He's like, you get the Martian Manhunter, but you don't get the Wonder Woman? That's fucking weird.
Yeah, well,
she's like, I get he's relatable. He is?
He's green, he flies, I can get with that.
Okay. He's got a snazzy suit. Oh, okay. But that Wonder Woman, Barry, I don't want you near her. Was it him? Barry, I don't want you near Wonder Woman.
No, so that whole thing right there. After that, what ends up happening is, like, every time we can put him in water, but eventually he's just going to catch on fire again. It's like, well, what the fuck do we do? And then from there, I want to say, they take him to Aquaman, and like, not Aquaman, they take him to Superman, and Barry's like, Superman, oh fuck, that's Superman, oh!
He's like freaking out.
Yeah, like, the movie, I'll say this, it focuses very heavily on
Flash. Flash is really the main character.
He's the main character.
Yeah.
He is the main character.
I think he's supposed to be like sort of like the gateway in, you know what I mean? He's the funny guy. He's got the wife. He's got, issues and so on. He's got something to like live and fight for. Where everybody else kind of just feels like sort of like the God character. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And going into this, so what ends up happening is they can't figure it out, so they more or less just have Martian Manhunter just submerged in water for most of the time. Like, it's okay, I'll just hang out in this pool, I guess.
Yeah, just like he's like in a kiddie pool or something, like in Wonder Woman's apartment.
Yeah, they went and got it from like Walmart or something, just like one of those little plastic pools you fill up with a water hose.
Yeah, and they're like, shit, we need a water expert. Clark, could you go get Aquaman?
They threw some pool toys in there so he doesn't get bored.
And Clark goes down to like Atlantis or whatever. Aquaman just like sitting on his throne like, I didn't tell you to fucking show up. What are you doing here? We got a water issue on land. Martian Manhunter, he's on fire. We can't put it out.
I was like the idea, like we got a water issue on land. They go out there, you just see like a bucket of water spilt onto the ground. What do we do?
You're the water expert. Come on.
They get Mara to use like water kinesis, like back into the bucket. Yay! They all clap. He's like, fuck. He just goes back into the ocean. That's why I don't come up here. These motherfuckers are hapless.
Yeah, exactly. And then it's almost like that thing where he's like, I want to show up. This sounds like fucking work. I'm Aquaman. Oh, don't call me Aquaman though. You gotta call me King Arthur. You dare fucking call me Aquaman. That's your name.
That's
what the surfer dwellers call me.
I don't like it. Not at all. Yeah, so they get across that he's not a big fan of all this, and in the meantime,
which kind of makes sense for like the 2000s, because that was like that period where like they used to make that joke in like every movie, be like, you know, whenever someone's like actual superhero name was said, they always like, that's stupid or that's lame, you know what I mean? Like, who would ever get called that? Or those movies where it's like he's a, like they'd always go like I always say like the Hulk, where it's like it's a abomination.
yeah.
They do those ones too.
Or they say it really passing, like Jeff Bridges, like that, or they say it in a very passing manner, like Jeff Bridges and Iron Man 1's, like, we're a bunch of ironmongers here.
Yeah.
Oh, he's ironmonger, I get it.
So, I mean, I kind of get, like, at that time period, that was just normal writing. I at least like how it comes back around in the long run, but, like, when I first saw that, I'm like, oh, here we go with those. I don't know what it is. I really hate that when, like, characters just don't accept their name right off the bat. It's like, no, just, like, don't even question it. I think that's kind of, like, goofy, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So going forward from there, what ends up happening
like Aquaman's like, I'm only gonna go there. Was Wonder Woman there? Like, yeah, she's there. Fine, I'll go because of Princess.
She's okay. I'm like, you? I know.
Yeah.
Like, Superman just seems very reactionary. Like, he doesn't really do a whole lot other than, like, there's no moments it's like, I'm Superman, I do that. It's like, hey, man, you want to come? Want to show up? Yeah, okay. All right, cool. Let's go.
I'm not gonna lie. This is one of these stories. If you literally knew nothing about DC, like this gives you no backstory or anything, you would have no idea. Like, there's no origins whatsoever in this entire screenplay. You know, I mean, just think if this was your first indication of the Justice League, you would just be like, I mean, maybe you would kind of get it just as it goes on, but like, it is totally like, shit. You don't know? Fuck it. Well, strap in. Don't know what to tell you.
You're going to learn by the end of it, and if you don't, well, fuck it.
Fuck it.
No, it's one of those things where, well, as it goes on, I mean, there's a lot of back and forth. I guess because they're trying to get so much in there at once. And then, once he gets there, he's just like, I don't know what this fucking seahorse thing is. I don't know what made it. That's fucking weird. And all of a sudden, like...
Just because it's a seahorse, you think it's fucking me? You think I'm fucking doing it? What the fuck, guys? They're like, oh, Aquaman, we're not putting any blame on you. What the fuck, man? What, just because a fucking seahorse? It's gotta be fucking Aquaman, huh? It's like, you calm the fuck down, Aquaman. What? Fuck you guys? Oh, fucking mosquito in here? Oh, shit, I don't feel so good.
I just like the idea of, like, him just being so defensive, like, oh, some dumbass kid, like, bumps his head in the fucking pool and drowns. Oh, it must be Aquaman's fault.
Let's go sue him. He's got a lot of money. He's king. Ooh.
He's got a lot of water. Why don't you stop it?
Just like he's so fucking defensive. I do gotta say, though, it cuts back to Batman's party, and I love how it says he has dueling guitar players, though, at his party.
Yeah, I bet that probably would have been, like, a cameo of some
Slash.
popular... Maybe Tom Morello or something?
Tom Morello and Slash, because Guitar Hero 3 era.
Oh, that's true. That's true.
It's a tie-in.
That could have happened. Yeah, and they got world leaders and all that, and then that's when Alfred pulls Batman aside and he says, like, so there's something that needs your immediate assistance. He says, what? Like, oh, shit. And then he kind of goes back to his...
That's the one where, like, everybody at the party's like, did he just go and fuck his butler in the back room? Shit.
I mean, if it's like, if that's what their thing, then okay. But I mean, I thought it was like a dad to him. That's what makes it weird. Like,
yeah,
you know, if he goes for older guys, whatever,
for a
you know.
real long time.
I mean, that dude, I'm sure he has plenty of experience. As much as, like, you know, brass polishing candles and all that shit too. I don't know, nobody knows how to do that shit. So, I'm just saying though. I mean, if it's his father figure, doesn't it make it odd? Maybe I'm just a weird one for judging. I don't know. It's 2009. What can I say?
I gotta be open. Well, I guess it's like he just goes down there, just shows him on, like, the Bat computer, like, what's going on. It's just like, look at, I almost said Brother Bear. I mean, Brother.
He just takes him down. Let's watch Brother Bear. Like, oh, this movie always makes me happy, Alfred.
Oh, my
He
favorite
had to get
birthday
away from the
surprise.
party.
I mean, I know it's only been out for like 5 years by now, but shit, this is the new tradition. It's the new Wayne House tradition every year.
Oh, you don't even have it on VHS? You got it on DVD? Yes, well, they're starting to phase him out, sir.
He's like, yeah, I'm not investing in that Blu-ray shit. That ain't Wayne Tech.
What was the other one that came out? They're not
Oh,
trying...
HD DVD?
HD, you were trying that out at the time? Yeah. HD DVD, HD DVD. Sir, you don't gotta chance it every time someone brings it up.
I love because like whenever I find those like in stores, they're always like sealed ones. Goes to show like that's the point. It was already so hard for someone to have a player that like if they came across a copy, they're like, well, why even open it? You know what I mean? Shit.
Yeah, I can see that.
And it's always like you'll see like 6 of them like at like not
like Matrix Reloaded.
Yeah, and it's just like you could just tell like what year exactly it was, like the Harry Potter like 3 or something like that.
It's like Matrix Reloaded, Harry Potter 3, Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah, you know, and then there'll be like one really odd movie in the whole bunch there. It's like, kind of like when you find
maybe
those
like
weird...
Ben Affleck's Paycheck.
Yeah, exactly, the John Woo one. But okay, Batman or Alfred takes Batman down to the Batcave, shows him what's on the screen that Martian Manhunter's just like laying in a kiddie pool like on fire. Be like, no, not the Manhunter. I gotta go.
Not the Green Boy. And he's trying to figure out like how it feels like he's piecing together. Like, feels like somebody is using my technique against me. Someone's using my information. How they know that? That's only I know that shit.
Yeah, they're like, yeah, because that's what he said. He's like how they know Martian Manhunter's weakness. Only I know Martian Manhunter's weakness. Shit, I invented Martian Manhunter's weakness.
And then what happens next from there? Because I'm trying. They go back. I want to say by then they go back. Like Aquaman's like, no, this ain't my sea creature, but let me see if I can help him out. And then that's when he gets bitten by a mosquito, but it's actually a little robot mosquito. And from there, he's like, what the fuck? And then it injected him with something, and it made him... And I guess if you want to prove Aquaman's a badass, and this is the first cinematic time doing it, this is not the way to do it.
He gets bit by a fucking nanobot mosquito and goes down for like 60 fucking pages.
Yeah, he gets bit, and he's like scared of water, and he's like whimpering. And he has like a robot, like we forgot to mention.
Oh yeah,
they're doing. He has the hand that's actually made out of water.
Yeah,
like it's kind of like instead of the claw hand, there was that period where he had that translucent hand made of water. He's like, get it away, no! Like rips it off.
Yeah, he just starts freaking. He's like Wonder Woman, hold me in your lap.
Water, I don't like water. Yeah.
Yeah,
it's one of those
really
things.
Doesn't
like,
help Aquaman's cause. I mean, like he does some other badass stuff later on in this one, but shit, starting him off like this.
Yeah, I mean, I could just see this movie not changing a lot of people's mind in Aquaman. Jason Momoa, I see how that can change people's mind.
Yeah.
This though, when he's just like he comes in like it's King Arthur. You guys make fun of me, and then you pollute my sea, and the princess doesn't call me back, and she likes the Kryptonian, and then I like water, but then water also scares me. It's like, this is your first outing for Aquaman?
Yeah, exactly. Princess, hold me while I suffer. Because in the part, really, it's like, I remember it's like Wonder Woman's holding Aquaman on his lap like a fucking infant.
It's like, okay. Like, that part was a little like, okay.
Yeah, it's just like, okay. I mean, I guess that works out for whoever the Aquaman actor is, but still, it's like, beyond that.
Well, the lady playing, I forgot her name, but she was, she's like she was like the one, she was like a very tall lady. She was in Mad Max Fury Road, and she was the lady who was up in the cage, and she was like naked, and she made some call noise, and then she was like a badass sniper chick. She wasn't the old lady sniper, but you know what chick I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. When you said the old lady, I'm like, well, that's who it was.
Give him guts for going there. I mean, she looks good for being like 1,000 years old or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. It makes sense with the Wonder Woman character. Shit, she's like 1,000 years old too.
Yeah. So, but no. So from there, they're like, you know, they're just trying to figure out what it is, and then I think Barry's like, okay, well, what could it be? Like, could it be the Joker? They name off a couple of the big DC villains, and he says, let me check. Bam, 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 bam. No, he's in Arkham. He's in Blackwater. He's on Wrecker's Island. He's in the Belle Reve. You know, so they kind of mention like, okay, so Joker, Scarecrow, Parasite, a couple other villains.
Yeah, they got a couple neat oddball ones that they threw in there, which I thought was kind of cool. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I was like, oh, that's kind of neat.
Parasite was one of them. Like, okay, cool. They mentioned Parasite, but Yeah, going from there, like, okay, so it's someone new. And at some point between here and there, we saw Maxwell Lord watching front, like, we see that he has access into the Brother Eye. And from there, Batman's also, he's like, Talia walks in, we realize they're working together, and she's like, that was stupid. He's just like, oh, don't worry, I got a plan, whatever, this bullshit.
And then that's also what it kind of explains, like, at one point I loved, Bruce or Batman or whatever, just so it explains that to everybody.
Just to get across, I really loved him at one point.
Yeah.
And just like, yeah, we know, we had the flashback, we know. No, but I really loved him. Okay, cool. And then going on further from there. Oh yeah, then they also get across. He has a bunch of monitors of children on his screen.
Yeah.
And he talks to him and says like, "How am I doing, Billy? How am I doing, Jonathan?" And it all says like deceased on their like beneath their names.
Yeah, exactly. So it's got this weird, it's got almost like this Ozymandias like room that he sits in, except for it feels like if Ozymandias just didn't have a whole lot of money and just went down to like the used TV store.
Yeah, because they've got across a bunch of used TVs.
Yeah, they're a bunch of old TVs and staticky and so on. So it gives it like sort of like almost like a creepy feeling, though for some reason he's got all this fucking nano Metal Gear Solid technology.
I think for some reason that right there, even though he's a guy who has money, just for whatever old like. That kind of imagery on old TVs just makes it more visually interesting and also kind of creepy.
Yeah, and I think that's what it's going
Especially when you got a bunch of children staring at him.
Yeah, so I think that's what it's going with.
It's like, I want to be surrounded by boys and I'm planning the destruction of the world.
Yeah, exactly. And then it's like, I think, is this the part where they start to get, they're like, oh shit, you know what, we need to go somewhere safe, we can't trust anything, let's go to the Fortress of Solitude. Superman's like, whoa. You can't just come to the Fortress of Solitude. It's called the Fortress of Solitude for me, my solitude. I don't bring
It's my man cave, the world's biggest, most awesome man cave that only I can know about.
Yeah, but for a singular man in his own manly ways.
Look, I'm going to say this. You guys can come over, but you cannot play the Lethal Weapon 2 pinball machine. That's strictly for me.
I just got it remodeled. I don't want it. Barry, you look like you're the kind of guy who's going to try to tilt it. I just don't trust you. You know what? You're going to probably try to tilt it without me knowing it. You think you're faster than the tilt. But here's the thing. I don't want you tilting it. I know you're new to the whatever this team we might call it later on, but
some kind of league.
Yeah, of justice figures. Maybe there might be a society at some point. Maybe America. Maybe some characters might be a little dark. Okay, Cal, let's just get the fuck out of here. I know you're just trying to drag it on. Look at fucking Aquaman here's fucking dying. We got Martian Manhunter still in the kiddie pool.
Oh, we forgot to mention, like, they mentioned Green Lantern off a few times, but then just literally, I think a few buildings away, he's like going over, because something that a lot of people they've kind of like almost don't even bring up anymore. John Stewart is an architect after being a Marine.
Oh, yeah, I know, because that's like one of those ones, like, and they bring it up in this thing, which I thought was kind of neat, too. I was like, oh, shit, they're showing, like, all kinds of stuff that John Stewart does. They really give him a lot of, like, backstory, which we kind of totally forgot. But,
well, they don't really, I don't think, they give him a lot of, like, quick little nods and backstory, but he doesn't really do a whole lot for this movie, because then he's going over, like, okay, he opens up a plan, he's trying to think out, like, oh, he wants to do a memorial playground for Hal Jordan.
Yeah.
And then he starts making constructs of children playing. He's just trying to plan it out, and that's kind of interesting. And then he starts working on it, and he bites the pencil. I guess the pencil was like, Brother Eye knew that he was a pencil biter. And Batman's like, oh, he's one of those kids, huh?
Yeah, I know. He's one of those ones.
He got his kryptonite.
You go to borrow his pencil, and then you just see there's all these, like, teeth marks on it. You're like, ew, that's fucking gross.
There always was
Alfred,
that kid.
give me a new pencil. Well, yeah, I need it right now.
No! No.
Shit, butlers. You know how it is.
Someone hears that from around the corner, like, I know he's fucking him.
Yeah.
Pencil's got to be slain.
But
not what I'd call it, but whatever. I guess he's rich. He can call it whatever the fuck he wants.
So is that how Jon Stewart gets infected? As he like bites
I think it was that. Didn't he bite his pencil? Like it was while he was thinking of. I thought maybe at first it was a mosquito or something, but I think he like bit into a pencil and the pencil had like a chemical in it. Then it was out of that. But I just want to say this real quick. There always was that kid. Like, you borrow a pencil, the thing was just all gnawed on, like it was a fucking chew...
Like
it was a chew toy of a fucking dog.
Yeah, like they were eating a corn cob or something like that.
Like, what the fuck, dude? Yeah. There's always it makes you sad knowing they made Jon Stewart one of those. Like, oh, don't make Jon Stewart.
Yeah, poor Jon Stewart. Shit, he gets first time on screen too. What's he doing? He's fucking like drawing. He's like, oh, it makes him like look like he's kind of like special. Like me drawing Memorial Park, chewing on pencil. Look at little kids running around.
Then he's like, I'm blind! He bites in the pencil, he goes blind, and all his constructs start going crazy and start attacking and start doing this, and then, like, what the fuck? Green lights out of there. It must be Green Lantern. Dude, what the fuck are you doing? That's okay. Come over here. We're all hanging out. Let's talk.
That's the one thing too. Is like everybody's just like hanging out in New York in this one. Like they're almost like never in Metropolis or anything, or Gotham or any of those places. It's just like, hey, let's hang. Well, I guess Batman is because he's the Batcave.
Batman's chasing down. Meanwhile, Batman's chasing down a group of thugs.
Oh yeah,
they're going after the cops.
And there is kind of a cool action scene with Batman fighting those thugs.
And this is the first real big action scene because everything else has just been kind of introduced to the character. I think this is kind of the thing that's kind of awkward about the movie is. There's not, for a while, it does the thing that a lot of movies at this time were doing, where you have the 2 or the 3 big action scenes.
And they're all at the end.
And everything else. What?
And they're mostly all at the end.
Yeah, and everything else is really spread apart, you know? So, right here, Batman, he has this cool chase scene with some like, robbers and bikers and whatnot. And then one of them, you find out they're working for Maxwell Lord. And then one of them... I think they're working for Maxwell Lord because they go into the OMAC thing later. But which I was like, oh, they brought OMAC into this? That's a weird cut. And one of them turns into like this blue-shelled robotic like thing and beats the ever-living fuck out of Batman. Like Batman gets his ass kicked a lot in this script.
Yeah, I think the whole thing is the fact that like they go with that thing that everybody else is a god. He's just a man. He's the Justice League mortal.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think it's almost called mortal just because somebody, won't say who just yet, but somebody dies at the end.
Yeah.
So I think it's the reason, like, oh, they are just mortal. But he gets smacked around. He barely just manages to get out of there. And then it gets the point across that after the fact, this OMAC, this robot, just disintegrates, and one of the bikers was just kind of left there shriveling like he didn't know what was going on. Like, this thing just took over him.
Yeah, so they have... That did they explain this? Yeah, maybe that comes a little bit later. I was gonna say is where Maxwell starts explaining like he's like at first we had these kids that were growing up and then we had the psyops next and then after the psyops we had our nanobots, which really just starts to feel like he's going this like huge like Metal Gear Solid like espionage explaining thing.
Like a 20-minute codec conversation.
Yeah, well, this really does come across like a Metal Gear Solid like Justice League story, in my opinion. I think with all the nanobots and the psyops and all this stuff, like the Psycho Mantis League and the children now, and I have to hold on to these children.
Like, was it? I don't remember. Were they all? I don't really remember entirely. Actually, you know what? He learned it and he managed to inject certain people with it. Because here's one of those things that ends up happening later. You find out, because, there's just 1 or 2 of these OMAC things. But you find out later in the script that what he's doing is all the stuff, all the nanobots to these things are inside the ingredients at his Planet Krypton restaurants.
I love how it's like, since everybody's eating at Planet Krypton and they all got the special sauce on everything.
Well, I'm also thinking, like, that sounds like... I was like... There's a way to do it. I think there's a way to do that, but the Planet Krypton, that just seems... Because, there's going to be some health nuts out there. I'm not fucking going there.
Yeah, exactly. Like, most people probably aren't going... There's probably a lot of people not going to Planet Krypton. You know what I mean? It sounds like it's kind of like an Applebee's.
Yeah, you might go there once. Yeah, like, if you told... Well, let's be 100% honest. Right now, not in a world where there's superheroes. Right now, if someone opened up a DC-themed restaurant, you and I would fucking go there.
Totally.
Maybe we wouldn't go there every day. We'd probably want to see how the food tastes first. But if at the end of the day, if it was just an Applebee's, then we'd think, okay, yeah, once or twice, then we're done.
Well, I'll say this. It's like Planet Hollywood. I never ate at a Planet Hollywood. I just walked in there and looked at all the shit and then walked out. Because I like the menu. I'm like, fucking burgers and shit? That's it? Like, not exciting. Like, you got a statue of fucking Arnold Schwarzenegger, Terminator 2 over there, and this is it? Like I don't know. Like, I felt like the food looked generic. So I just walked to the restaurant, restroom because they had really badass like restrooms filled with all kinds of weird stuff in there too. Looked at the wall of all the stuff on the way out. And I was like, yep, okay, good.
Well,
and I did that.
That's what Planet Hollywood.
The three different ones I saw.
You'd see some really serious, like, important shit in there, like important movie shit.
Yeah.
Like, oh, here's a puppet from the first Nightmare on Elm Street when Freddy's jumping at the screen, or here's like you said, the Terminator 2, you know, or here's just a couple really important things to movie history, and then it'd be like, shit, we're scraping the bottom of the barrel. You know Joey from Friends? Well, at one point he was in a Lost in Space movie. Here's his laser gun.
Yeah, exactly. Here we go. You know, I mean, you'd have those kind of things there. Well, that's like depends. Like, I feel like there's certain Planet Hollywoods where it got some of the good stuff, and then there's sort of like Planet Hollywood offshoots that kind of, you get whatever's left over, sort of.
You're just opening up like, oh, god damn it, I just got a pair of swim trunks from Overboard. And then, like, I don't know, because I'm Pauly Shore's headband from Biodome.
Yeah, exactly. Because I remember, like, the Vegas one had pretty cool stuff. And then it was like, I can't remember, it was either the San Francisco one I remember, or like the Bay Area one had kind of like, wasn't as cool as the Vegas one, I just remember. I was like, huh.
You told me, it was either you or Cisco, one of you guys went to one where they had a Goomba from the Mario Brothers movie. To everyone else, that's bullshit. But to us, though, it's like, what?
I think that was Cisco that saw that one, because I don't remember that. I do remember somebody telling us that, though.
I remember seeing Arnold's outfit from Terminator 2 and actually Terminator 1, and I think it was in the Vegas one. I think maybe.
Yeah, that was in the Vegas one because I remember that.
Yeah, so that was like, oh my fucking god.
So granted, I guess if you went to these planet Kryptons here, you would be like, oh shit, dude, there's that suit that Batman wore that one time he jumped across the building like late at night. Because I don't know how else it's not like.
Oh, that time. That one time.
You know, or something like that, or like it would probably have like lost artifacts, like, oh dude, here's some batarangs that probably like some, you know, low-end guy goes out at night and picks them and steals them and then sells them to planet Krypton.
Careful, it says junkie blood on it.
Yeah, exactly. But it sounds like these planet Kryptons aren't just like here and there. Like it sounds like it's like everywhere. Like
it's like a McDonald's.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like. It's more like it's less of being kind of like I guess like a Planet Hollywood, which is kind of like a destination type place, even though I know that their whole downfall was that they made too many of them as time went on. But this thing sounds like, yeah, literally McDonald's. It's like there's three of them.
Planet Hollywood, Fresno, or just something like that.
That's what kind of happened though, because at first it was like, I mean, it said this in Arnold Schwarzenegger's book because him, Stallone, and Bruce Willis were the guys that started it. But yeah, there used to be just like there was like Planet Hollywood, like Los Angeles, like New York, I think Las Vegas, and like there was like 5, maybe 10 of them all around the world. Like there's maybe one in London or something like that. Maybe one in like in Tokyo. And then all of a sudden there's like some other partners that kind of came in as time went on, or maybe when they took the thing public, and then they started putting them like Planet Hollywood, Fresno, and so on. And then it just kind of lost its appeal because it wasn't like, it's not that.
Planet Hollywood, Atwater, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
No, but anyway, so they end up kind of covering, like, they realize that Olmec is just this one-man army corps is what it means. But it's one of these, essentially what it is it's just this long-running, on and off military program they try to get going for years, but they would start up and end. They'd always try different approaches, and the most recent approach is nanobots that take over the body combined with psychokinetic powers and whatnot. And they're all like, what the fuck is going on? They're all hanging out at the Fortress of Solitude, like, what the fuck is going on? And Batman rolls in like, yo, what's up? I'm here. I know why you're here, because I got the thing in the spy that looks down on you guys, and you're all fucked up right now because it's my bad. I mean, the reason why the fish boy can't swim is because, Mosquito, that wasn't my design. Someone else thought of that, but, I would have got there too because I'm Batman. I'm awesome that way. And then you go on and he just kind of explains the whole thing. Like, yeah, I made it just in case you guys ever decide to go crazy and attack us. And then one woman socks him in the jaw.
No, she socks Superman. Because Superman holds...
No, she socks Batman in the jaw.
Is that what happens? Because, like, Superman's holding Batman up against the wall. Because he's like, bros, I can't believe you fucking did it. Like, why would you make a contingency plan against all of us? He's like, yeah, it just sounded like a good idea until I got to this point.
Maybe I should have just kept that to myself. Maybe I should have just come in like, hey, this is fucking weird, huh?
Yeah, shit. How they know all our secrets?
How'd you know how I got here? Oh, I don't know. I just saw like the giant like ice castle in the distance. Like, oh, I wonder what that is. Oh, look.
Yeah.
You guys, what's up?
Hey, this is the weird thing. Why the fuck is there like this like farmhouse in like the middle of the fucking Arctic, just in your Fortress of Solitude? And there's like ice sculptures and shit around it, and then all of a sudden there's like mom, posh farmhouse, just. Oh, but it's like it's not real. It's like fake Hollywood, like it's an old Western setup. What the fuck's up with this?
I mean, it's not even that believable material. I mean,
look at it. If I walk around the corner, there's not even a third wall to this. It's just two-sided.
It's like a sitcom set. What the fuck's going on here?
What are you filming, Clark?
Oh yeah. Anyway, so these robots came after me and they almost killed me.
Yeah, shit. That's why I'm hiding my shoulder behind my cape.
Oh, and apparently his armor at this point in the script. I mean, not just right here. He's going to be wearing, like, things kind of holding him together, you know, so you can still walk around, like, cybernetic stuff over him. But eventually what was going to happen is he was going to be wearing armor that resembled that from Kingdom Come.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, they're going to give him some cool, like, some really, like, over-the-top, like, Kingdom Come, like, battle armor. So it's like, okay, so he's all fucked up, and now we can find a reason for him to fight. And then I want to say right there, like, okay, well, let's figure out what we got to do. And I think from right here, this is where they're trying to figure out how to fix everybody. And, oh, we forgot to mention.
Well, Barry keeps going back home, like, every once in a while, because he just can. Like, Wonder Woman, you got this. You got the Fish Boy, and you got the Flaming Martian Manhunter. I got to go back for a bit, you know. Just got to let the wife know what's going on, you know. I let her know everything. Shit. I tell her all your secret identity. I just love her that much.
She's a reporter, but she's good for it.
You can trust her, you know what I mean? She's not like that Lois Lane person. Shit, you can't trust anything she says. Know what I mean?
Cunt.
Know what I mean, Superman? Just like elbowing.
Well, there's even a part where he's all hanging out there because everyone's doing something. And he's like, so, you guys got anything to eat? Like, Superman's just working on something, nothing. Okay, cool. He's just kind of like, they get across that Flash feels very useless. They get that across several times. And I know we've been saying a whole lot, but Flash really is the main character. Barry Allen Flash. And he runs back home for a minute like, hey, yeah, so I'm doing superhero shit right now, and trust me, it's all going to pan out. It's all going to work out. Like, oh, your nephew's here. Oh, Wally's here? We find out Wally has powers just like him. Don't question it.
Yeah, it's
and
ugly.
They're playing ping pong together, like super Flash style. And Wally West just really comes across as like, oh boy, gee willikers, I can't wait to help.
He's like, Wally, you know how you used to hack into the Pentagon? Okay, I got an assignment for you.
Now you can do a supersonic speed, right? Well, yeah, duh. All right, cool. You're 17. Go do it.
Yeah, go do it. And if you go to jail, say you don't know me.
Besides, you're too fast. I can't fucking find you.
What are you gonna
do? What do we say here in Central City? Fuck the police. That's right.
Exactly, and that's the thing. Work on it from the inside. That's what I do. That's the Barry way. So you know what's going on.
It's like that. Fuck the police. You are the police. Well, you know what I mean.
Well, I'll tell you this though. The police don't call me the police. They just say I'm that boy in the lab. It's
the lab boy.
It's sad, really. They say
I
can't have my own gun either. They say I'm a danger to myself and others.
They always, I don't like everyone else has their own like spot in the fridge. Apparently not me. Apparently not the guy that does all the actual crime solving, but it's okay. I drag my nutsack across their faces at lightning speed, so you know.
It all works out.
They never knew, but I do.
That's all.
They suddenly get that weird musky scent across their nose. They don't know what it is. It starts to itch. I know what it is though.
And then I slide a Polaroid under their pillow at night. So all of a sudden, when they go to do the laundry and they take that pillowcase off, this mysterious Polaroid falls out.
Surrounded by red fabric, just sliding across their face.
It's just their face, and there's just this nutsack across it. The thing is, it's the greatest reaction, because they really don't know how it happened.
Sometimes I'll do it in the middle of the workplace. Like I'll see some guy going to grab a file. He goes, opens it. He just drops it, staggers, looks around. I'm just like, just going back doing what I'm doing.
You know, they want to act like, oh shit, gotta make sure nobody else sees this, because they're like, you know, that one night I blacked out. I wasn't really too sure what happened, but maybe this is it.
The thing is, like, I'm not going to do anything for him because, you know, I'm not going to do anything about it because, you know, I could lose my identity, but it's just fun to fuck with them. You just got to put that fear into them. Every so often, I'll just, as soon as they think, like, no one's paying attention, I'll do it again and get other, just so they don't think it's the same picture, I'll get it from another angle, like something that you can't Photoshop, you know?
This is where Iris steps out like, hey, boys, what are you guys talking about? No, nothing, Iris. Go back inside. This is man talk.
Make me my 14 dinners.
Yeah. Shit, this is why we live in the poor part of town.
So, you can't buy Whole Foods with his appetite. Too expensive.
Oh. Well, this is where, like, lots of times when I go to the, you know, planet Krypton, I kind of sneak in the back, supersonic speed, and, you know, just fill myself up. You know? They got that kind of bread. It's kind of like the stuff you get at Red Lobster, but better, because it's green, Kryptonian-like.
Yeah, maybe they say it's a little insensitive to Superman himself, but, you know, he still doesn't want to try eating it. I think it's fantastic, though. No, but actually, here's something we forgot to mention. Here's probably one of the things that I got a feeling they probably would have taken out of the script, or if they did keep it in the script, they would have got a lot of shit for this. They have, like, a quasi super speed sex scene for a second.
Oh, the part where, like, he fades through her?
Yeah, like, he holds her, he fades through her for a second, and she, like, moans like, ah, and then stops back, and she's like, don't tell anybody that we do that.
Yeah, it does have, like, that. Well, it's like, yeah, I was like, I wasn't too sure what that exactly was going with when he does that. Just like, oh, okay.
I guess you could say it's one of two things. You could say it's like a romantic thing, like they're literally one and the same for a minute, like holding the same space.
Just like plays that Spice Girl song where it's like, when two become one.
I don't know that song. I don't know Spice Girls because I'm a man.
I like the Spice Men.
The Spice Boys.
Yeah, Spice Boys. Spice Boys just sounds like the boy band from, like, fucking Neverland.
I'm sure there was a Spice Boys. I don't want to Google it or Bing it though, because
that's just only going to bring up things you'd be better off not seeing.
I suddenly just might be like, Spice Boys. No, we're not ready for it yet. But anyway, so he goes back, and then from there they're just figuring out. I think Batman figures out to some extent.
Well, Batman just fucking like leaves. It's like he has a conversation with like Clark outside where he's like, I can't remember the time about, but you know, he's just like, Bruce, you just can't just be making these plans without us involved. Yeah, well, fuck you, Clark. What are you gonna do about it, huh? Gonna stay up here in your home, away from everybody else, without a butler? Yeah, that's what I thought. I'm gonna go back into town and do something about it. You guys hang out here and camp out like you're fucking Ninja Turtles or something. You'll figure it out.
It is kind of like that thing in Ninja
Yeah,
Turtles. They go after Shredder. They all get the fuck kicked out of them. So April takes them to their getaway home, and then they just like Raphael just hangs out in a pool. Literally, it's kind of like Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, it's totally like that because they're there for like fucking ever. Like, I mean, it's not like there for so long that you're like, oh god, this is going on forever. But like, it's one of those ones. Like, I was looking at like the page count. I'm like, shit, they're like the Fortress of Solitude. Some of those characters are at the Fortress of Solitude until like page 90 almost. Well, maybe not that far, but you know, like shit.
Well, essentially, and this part is probably not the most interesting part, but essentially they all start to figure out ways to fix each other. And I want to say,
this sounds like an episode of like Big Brother when you say it like that. We found ways to fix each other. What happens when you lock 5 superheroes in a Fortress of Solitude?
One needs water to survive, but scared of water. One can't leave the water.
Because he's on
fire. The other is blind.
He's flaming.
They never actually attack Wonder Woman's weakness or Superman's weakness. Well, actually, they do Superman for a second, but they never get Wonder Woman.
They do towards the end. Well, I love how, like, when Batman's, like, he finds more information on the computer. Like, I think it's when we didn't mention this, but when Batman finally discovers, he's like, oh, fuck. He's, like, typing away at the computer. He's like, they're hacking in. Alfred, they're going faster than I can go. It's like Matrix speed. And then it finally, he's like, what the fuck? There's a report on me? Well, I just gotta see what this is all about. It goes, weakness? Batman don't have weakness. And he kind of scrolls down and looks, he's like, Batman's weakness. It's like, love.
Oh, fuck. They know!
Alfred! Who would know my one weakness is love?
Alfred, they found my playlist with all the
Power ballads.
Stevie Nicks songs and sad Celine Dion songs.
In my Journey remixes.
Oh shit. He just has this playlist of all these sad love songs. Like, that's how they found out. They saw my Spotify. I thought no one ever clicked on that shit because no one was going to be that creeper about it.
Well, I thought it was just a playlist for me. I didn't know it was a playlist the whole world could see.
I mean, I didn't even hit make public, but fuck, it still shows up. I'm gonna write a fucking complaint. I'm taking my stocks out of that fucking company. Jesus Christ. So then he goes on. He realizes they say they have a bunch of images of him with Vicky Vale, Silver St. Cloud, Catwoman, Poison Ivy for a second. So it's like, oh, okay, so they do know their Batman history. Because it's like Silver St. Cloud, like that's a deep cut right there.
Yeah, exactly. There was a couple in there that was like, oh, whoa, that's fucking, yeah. That's not just like your regular like Batman movie ones or something like that. It's like, oh, shit. And then I think that's when Batman does, and then he goes and he finds it, and then like when he shows up the Forge of Solitude, he'd be like, well, shit, they want us to all be here, you know what I mean? It's all a setup. They're like one step ahead of us. They're like, well, Batman, why would you know that? I said, because that's what I would have done. I would have been one step ahead of us. Well, then why don't you want that step ahead of these guys? Shit, they're one step ahead of me.
Every so often you trip.
Yeah.
You get so many steps ahead, you trip. You can't always help. Your shoelace comes untied. You know. Oh, you don't know because you don't wear. Because you fly. You don't walk.
Yeah, you got those slip-on boots right there. I mean, I guess I got slip-on boots too sometimes, but you know.
You got Velcro. Real men tie them shoes.
But yeah, it's just sometimes you're just not ahead. It's kind of like, you know, every once in a while I just don't solve the Riddler's riddles. You know what I mean? Just ain't worth it. It's stupid. Sometimes there's 250 of them in like the fucking area. And it's like I don't got that fucking time. I got real crimes to solve. I'm not gonna look for
every one of these fucking trophies. I got shit to do.
Yeah, shit. There's other games I could be playing. I don't need to be playing some, you know, Riddler game. Look at me. Ooh, I'm so awesome. I have trophies. Yeah, that's scary. That keeps kids up at night.
Sometimes I gotta figure some of it out, but I really got shit to do, so I'll just pull up a Let's Play. I'll pull up the walkthrough. Figure it out that way. Why? Because I'm fucking busy. I'm an adult.
Got the shit to do. Just who I am. But, yeah, you guys got this. Okay, you guys, let's see here. Green Lantern, you got something behind your eyes. Aquaman, you got something in your neck. Let's see, who else has got one of these problems here? Martian Manhunter, yeah, those flames there. You know, in my contingency plan, I never really had how to put the flames out part.
I don't remember. It was.
I really don't remember how it just feels like the flames just finally go out at some point.
It's like, well, it's like a weird combination of things. He was the last one they fixed, but what ended up happening is, even though Jon Stewart's blind for like over half the movie, it seems, he manages to think of some precision tools, and out of that, I want to say what they do
guides him into like Aquaman's head or something like that.
And they pull out the bug or whatever that is making him scared of water.
Mm-hmm.
And then from there, he uses his water hand, which he's afraid of, and is able to go into Jon
just shoves it down his
Stewart's
ear or something like that. You know, they say you're not supposed to get water in your ear. Well, here's a whole hand coming in. Did you wash that hand yet? No.
Pretty much, yeah. So it goes in there and then cleans out his eyes from the inside or whatever. And then from there, they make a mirror for, he composites a mirror together, and they do some weird back and forth thing. Like they shoot a blast, I remember, I think Superman shoots a blast or whatever at the mirror and then bounces back at in a Martian Manhunter, and they have to basically blast away at him until it knocks the shell off, releasing him or something like that.
It's like one of those ones where I feel like in writing it sounds kind of confusing, but I bet you if you watched it in a movie, it'd be like, oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's just when writing, it's like that, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Though I will say, like the Aquaman hand thing just sounds kind of cool. How it goes in there and stuff.
Mm-hmm. So then from there, Batman goes. He figures out. He's trying to think how they fucking get it. Then he thinks back to him and Talia fucking.
He's like,
and
oh
she bites.
Shit! I didn't wear a condom that night.
Exactly. Well, no, she like bites. She like had nanobots in her blood.
Yeah,
and
there's like nanobots like everywhere. This is like so. That's where I feel it's so Metal Gear Solid feeling.
It's the Fox die. It's the DARPA chief died. Not another one. Another heart attack. Yeah.
But yeah, so she bites into Batman, gets his weakness from his blood.
Well, she was like, she had nanobots in her blood, and she bit her own lip, and then like kissed him or something like that. So yeah,
you know how those nanobots work.
Shit. You know how it goes. Those crafty nanobots. So he goes after Talia, and then he's confronting Talia, saying, "Hey, what the fuck? You're behind this? Like, I didn't want all this. This is not part of my plan." I'll say this: they don't make Talia is evil and conniving as she usually is. She's actually more of just the hot chick who's just like, I just want my man back, and I fucked him once. And that's as far as it goes. She's not really, like, I mean, I get it. There's so many characters in this thing. So, like, part of me gets it. Another part of me is like, Talia wouldn't give a shit what she's done to all these characters. She just view them as people that would have gotten in the way between her and her man.
Yeah.
So she wouldn't give a shit about that. And on top of that, she was just like, I'm sorry, I didn't want all this. I just wanted you. She'd like, oh, you don't want me? Well, if I can't have you, no one can have you. So this is how it's going to fucking be. She is like a straight up fucking villain.
Yeah, exactly. It is kind of more just like, she's like, oh, I didn't know what I was getting into kind of like attitude. Like, he said...
She seems kind of like she's like a Bond girl, like not the main Bond girl,
yeah,
but the villain's Bond girl who did not totally realize the circumstances.
She didn't really know what she signed up for. She heard that she was getting paid $3 million, everything was going to be great, didn't realize that they were going to be in a volcano later on, and that somebody was going to get sacrificed.
Yeah.
And that's what Talia's kind of like in this one. She didn't know what she signed up for.
Which my thing is like, she's the leader of, well, she's the daughter of the biggest terrorist in the world. And
I'm pretty sure she reads her contracts.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing about Talia al Ghul. She's a great villain because she's a really smart, like, cunning lady, and the whole thing about that, she's like, what? Yeah, I'm gonna have a kid because I want to birth the next fucking Batman. I want to fucking lead the world. But you know what? You see this right here? This shit looks like it's 22. Guess what? It's 41.
Yeah.
When I'm 50, it's gonna look like I'm fucking 30. You think I'm gonna let some fucking kid ruin that? No, we're gonna pump this thing out of me, throw it in a fucking test tube, alright? So I can still do Pilates and crunches and shit.
Yeah, exactly.
This shit's lasting as long as fucking possible.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Because
like,
my dad uses up all the Lazarus pits. He doesn't save any of them for his kids.
So
sometimes he doesn't even need to use them, and he uses them.
Just to make sure, you know, it's kind of like when you're playing Super Smash Brothers and you see like a maximum tomato. You don't really need it, but you don't want the other guy to have it.
That's exactly what. That's perfect description. Well,
so Batman goes there, and that's when Maxwell Lord comes down like, well, Bruce, here's how it is, you know. And then we find out that all these kids, because they say when he's reading the profiles earlier that all these kids were killed off, and through different testing, and he's the one survivor. He's the one surviving kid, and he could read minds. He's actually a psychic and whatnot. And out of that, he's just kind of built up this empire using whatever resources he has, and he's bitter towards superheroes because he has the whole thing, we're here now, but you weren't here when I needed you, you know, that whole bullshit.
Yeah, where were you to save my family when we were trapped in the Congo in the 70s?
Oh, well, my parents were killed when that happened, so I don't know what to fucking tell you.
Yeah,
They're the same age, roughly, so it's like, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah. So yeah, go fuck yourself, psychic boy.
You know,
Psycho man just wannabe.
You had to cry and make a fast food chain. I went to Tibet and did some pull-ups. So I don't know. You tell me.
Yeah, so he's taking it out on like that or like whatever, and then
so then he goes in, and what ends up happening is they'll come in. By this point, they're all like, all the heroes are fixed again. Like, all right, now time to fuck some shit up. And they come in to back up Batman because by this point he then calls in 3 Omacs at once to go and attack Batman, and that's where he reveals his plan, saying, "Yo, my restaurants, I had nanobots in the food. Everybody eats these fucking places.
Yeah, shit.
So I have the whole world.
Anybody who's anybody's at fucking Planet Krypton right now. If you're not, you're a fucking loser. That's what my ad says."
And we forgot to mention, he catered Bruce's birthday party, and they show like all these different world leaders and politicians there turning into Omacs all across the world.
Which all it pictures, I picture like when they said that in there initially, just a bunch of fucking like to-go bag. I mean, they make it out that like it looks kind of eloquent, but I just picture like a bunch of fucking to-go bags sitting around Bruce's. Well, like, Bruce, shit, you're really cheaping out on your birthday here. You could have just said you didn't want us to show up.
He's doing the fucking Trump thing. Trump had the whole thing, which is like, we had the greatest spread ever. We got KFC, we got McDonald's, we got Burger King, Pizza Hut. You guys will love it. Like, these guys walk in like, we're fucking world champions. This motherfucker is serving us fucking Big Macs.
Yeah, like,
we're at the White House of all things. And this guy, like, yeah, sure, that's a cool spread if it's like, if you're like not at the White House. You're a world fucking champion.
Yeah, one of those ones. But I've never seen it's like, that's fucking weird. I'm like, they're really trying to get that like Planet Krypton across, and lo and behold, you realize why, because he's explaining his plan. He's like, it's in the special sauce. Everybody's got nanobots in them from the special sauce. What about the people that order? What about people that order burgers without the special sauce? No such thing. No such thing. Nobody gets the burger without it. They eat it. We make them eat it because we tell them that's the only way you can have it.
One came to mind when I was reading this part of it.
Uh-huh.
It's gonna seem like a really weird cut. There's that episode of the Super Mario World cartoon where Bowser opens up a chain of like restaurants.
Uh-huh.
And all the fucking... Because that's the thing about the Super Mario World cartoon. For some reason, they had to throw the stupid fucking cave people there. We just couldn't focus on Mario and Luigi and Yoshi. They also have the dumbass cave people,
Yeah, I don't know.
with a huge fucking overbite, But,
Captain Caveman must have been popular, having a resurgence then or something. I don't know why they...
No, there's like a blonde-haired, blue-eyed, just like really dopey, creepy... Like, he was the new Toad, more or less.
Yeah.
But he was just always like, what the fuck's this guy doing here? Anyway... it would be one of those things like everybody who ate the special sauce would turn into a chicken. And I don't think they said this, but the plan was to like, we're going to turn these things into we're going to turn all the other carrot people into chickens. Like, literally they have Mario and Peach being chased by fucking chickens of like, Luigi and the other cave people or whatever from like the sauce they ate.
Yeah.
Well, first off, it's fucking weird. Like, yo, this guy tries to kill us on a daily fucking basis and tries to steal our lady. Why are we going to his fucking restaurant?
Yeah, like, really?
It's not like that shit where it's like he wears, like, the Groucho Marx glasses and the nose. And like, who's that? I don't know. It's like they blatantly know it's Koopa, and they're still going there getting these fucking sandwiches. So, okay, whatever. Anyway, that came to mind when reading this.
Yeah, it's like...
Oh, they got the special sauce.
I think it's just like... It's like, I kind of get what they're going with. Like, I mean, like... I feel like you almost, like... The fast food restaurant version of it is just such a weird... You know what it also reminds me of? Is like, this comes later on. It's like how in, like, Devil May Cry 5... or whatever, like, there's, like, not the Mountain Dew. Well, it's kind of like Mountain Dew, but there's, like, the energy drink company...
It's all demonic shit in it.
Yeah, exactly. Something kind of like that. But I feel like almost like the better way to do it would be almost do it like in more of like a Resident Evil style, where it's almost like, oh, the pharmaceutical company happens to be, I actually happen to own this one, and in in every single vaccine and so on. I feel like that seems more like a logical way to go about it than like it's in the fast food special sauce.
That or Logan, because in Logan they got it across that they're putting the anti-mutant gene in corn syrup and then a lot of foods as well. Mm-hmm. So it's like, oh, well, you could just say that, if you want to make it a little easier, like, you saw ads for like, oh, all natural. I'm not trying to be all like, let's make it all natural, man. But I mean, I could totally see that being more like people gravitating towards that.
Yep.
You know, just genetically modified food or whatever, as opposed to like some tacky fast food joint. But whatever, you know, I guess the fast food joint was also a way to make a reference to Kingdom Come. So
yeah, so it's there. I mean, like it works in like a Saturday morning cartoon way. I feel like in
the secret sauce
in the major motion picture, it's a little bit like far-fetched, but whatever, we'll go with it. That's what they chose.
I think there's a way to do it other than secret sauce on a cheeseburger. That's all.
Yeah, because I just feel like, here's the thing. If I went to that restaurant, I would have ordered it without the sauce. Obviously, I'm not getting nanobots. What's your plan there, Maxwell?
Yeah, good point. Good point. Well, here's my other thing, because I'm pretty much the same way. Because usually secret sauce is mayo based.
Yes, it's mayo based sauce.
And you and I are like two of the only white people in the world that hate mayo. So
I know, when I watched Undercover Brother, I was like, shit, I must be black. That was the first thing I thought watching that movie. I'm like, I hate mayonnaise and I love hot sauce. That's what this movie taught me.
I get it.
I really want to wristwatch one of these days that has hot sauce in it.
No, but like, what was I gonna say? Yeah. So moving forward, a bunch of people start turning into nano machine, like OMAC robots, and all the Justice League is like,
it's
all
almost
right,
like
well,
Sonic the Hedgehog now.
Yeah. It's kind of like, you know, people are inside the robots. Then Batman, and then like, you know, Barry Allen eats this shit all the time, but he moves so fast he can kind of shake it off.
Out those nanobots.
Just violently, like diarrhea, like blue shit. Just
it's like Iris is like, honey, maybe you should stop eating at the planet Krypton. Fuck that! It's just too good. It's too good. It's worth it. I know it sounds terrible. I know my asshole's on fire right now, but I'm just gonna say it. It's well worth it, you know. 5 minutes.
Why are you shitting Blue Robotics? I don't fucking question it.
Well, there is a scene we did forget. Did this come up yet where like Barry's like, he gets the nanobot in him and he starts like just phasing through the world?
Yeah. Oh, that was his whole thing. That's right.
Yeah, he started phasing. He just like started slipping through fucking like Clark's like, you know, Farmville house set up there, and then he starts going through, and then Wonder Woman. This part just sounds like another one of those ones. Like probably on screen it sounded like it made more sense, but it seemed like, okay, Barry Allen just falling through, and it makes it sound like he ends up in Antarctica. So I'm like, well, I always picture like,
well, that's where Fortune already is.
Yeah, but it's just like, okay, if that's where it is, then where's he falling through at? Because there's like penguins and shit all of a sudden. And then like Wonder Woman like lassos him and has to like reel him in, while
Martian Manhunter does some shit to, I think, like. Does like I don't remember what they do.
It was really convoluted, but as I said, if you watched it, probably made tons of sense. But
yeah, like, oh, okay, I get it.
But when I was reading it, I was just like, oh, okay, there's a lot going on here. Yeah, like Green Lantern was obviously doing something to hold him back. I don't know.
And yeah, I forgot about that part. And it's Wally West who actually. We saw a little bit of Batman doing some research into the OMAC project. It was actually Wally West that did the rest of it, though. We forgot to mention that because Wally West. He met up with Wonder Woman and Flash at Planet Krypton.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, Flash is like, dude, Wonder Woman, if there's a place that a girl like you needs to go, it's got to be Planet Krypton. Come on.
And then from there, what they end up doing is Batman, Batman gets his ass kicked, but then the rest of the Justice League comes in at the right moment to help save the day. And then
I love how when Batman's getting his ass kicked, though, it literally cuts back like multiple times just to fucking Wonder Woman and Flash and what fucking Wally just sitting at the planet Krypton. Like Batman's like hanging upside down, getting like electrocuted and beaten with like a pinata, and they're just sitting there like eating away and talking about theories of like what this Maxwell could or not be doing.
Was I right about the fries? Was I right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And then ends up happening is he ends up. After that, they end up, they come in and more or less kind of save Batman from getting his ass kicked again. And I want to say maybe from this point on, he's in some special robot, like Kingdom Come style suit. And out of that, like, oh, well, this is going to be fucking easy. We got Superman here. And then, like, that's when Maxwell Lord is like, I'm going to control Superman now. And he thinks Wonder Woman just killed Lois Lane.
Psychic powers!
So, exactly.
Yeah, it's like I picture it like or like Super Friends style with that sound effect.
Wonder Woman's like, Like Aquaman's like, that's my fucking thing.
Yeah.
Gotta take that from me too.
Take my sound effect.
Just get my water powers back.
Yeah.
So then out of that, they have this big, long... I mean, I'll say this. People always talk about Batman versus Superman, and, I get it. I get the whole Batman versus Superman kind of dynamic, but at the same time, when it gets down to it, a real much more even fight is Superman versus Wonder Woman. That's a much more evened out fight.
That's what they got here, which is like, to me, I feel this is probably like the coolest part. If this was a movie, this would be like, that would have been the part where people...
the trailer a lot.
This is the part you would have walked out of there and be like, dude, that fight with fucking Superman and Wonder Woman, like... Because that is kind of things, like, everybody always wants Batman fighting Superman, but it's really like... I don't know. It's one of those ones, like, I'm not saying it's not kind of cool, but it's like, really, it's just like watching a guy, like, it's really no different than really Lex Luthor fighting Superman at the end of the day. You know what I mean? It's both a guy of, like, mind and human body, trying to use whatever kind of, like, gizmos and gadgets and suits he has to try to defeat a man from another planet.
Well, Dark Knight Returns, more or less, not the animated movie, but the comic. Mm-hmm. It really, I may have said this on the show before, but that whole fight they have... It's barely a fight. It's really, he has like 3 or 4 moves he just has to get. And if he gets them in that order, he wins. And it reminds me more, this might seem a little convoluted, but it reminds me more of like Taxi Driver. Like the final showdown in Taxi Driver.
Yeah.
Like, he has to go in, he has to get this guy, that guy, and he does it very sloppily, and he's going to get fucked up along the way. But that's kind of what he has to do. Because really, when it gets down to it, Superman comes down, he throws him, socks him a few times, Batman manages to charge him, kick him in the jaw, and then in that time, that gives him enough time for Green Arrow to shoot the kryptonite arrow, explodes in his face, and then Batman goes to town on him.
Kicks him right in the balls as hard as possible, like, yeah!
Yeah, so it's one of those things where it's shot from the Krypton, it's just balls.
Yeah.
No, so that's the thing about that whole final battle is that is they always make it out to be this big epic like giant brawl, which I get because it's interesting, it's fun. In the Dark Knight Returns movie, it's really fun to watch and it's really badass, and they give him like basically a super strength suit. But in the comic, and I'm not complaining about it, but in the comic, it was really just this thing just made to withstand like a couple of blows before he rips your fucking head off.
Yeah. Because it really is. It's only like 3 or 4 pages too. It seems like I want to say
it's really short. And the first 2 pages is just him getting knocked down, landing a few attacks, and then him getting dosed with the arrow, and then Batman talking shit, kicking him in the face, like my hands around your throat, like that whole speech.
Yeah, exactly. Where in this one, it's like when you got Batman fighting Wonder Woman, and that's one of those things. That's happened here and there, but that actually is really fucking rare when you think about it. Like, I've never seen in any animated movie, I don't think Batman or Superman's ever really fought Wonder Woman.
I know they have, but it's not as common as like the Batman-Superman fight for some reason. So
yeah, even in like Justice League and Justice League Unlimited, I can't remember an episode where where Superman and Wonder Woman fight, like really fight, more than just maybe like a punch or so. A
few blows and catches, yeah.
So, like, in this one, it just seems like this would be, like, almost kind of like the fight, like, in Man of Steel, where it's just, like, a real badass, like, throwing each other around and so on, except for now you got Superman fighting Wonder Woman. And that, I feel, is, like, really the take-home of this, like, whole script right here. I mean, this part right here would be so badass in theaters, I think.
And then out of that, I want to say, while that's going on, I don't remember if this happens before or after. While that's going on, all the Omax are transforming and all the superheroes are stopping the Omax.
Yeah.
And this is going on in the meantime. And this is where they seem to be kind of doing a good job with the Batman not killing rule, up until Batman gets a hold of Maxwell Lord, snaps his neck. So he says, whatever, I did what I had to do, boy, and does that whole, like, Punisher Batman thing where he killed him, like, but we can't do it. And Batman usually would be feel very bad about it. But in this case, he's like, whatever, fuck him, fuck you.
Well, because it's weird, because there's a scene where, like, literally, like, somebody stops Wonder Woman from killing. And it's kind of like, I always feel like, shit, if any of those characters in the Trinity's going to kill, I feel like Wonder Woman has the highest, like, chance of it compared to, like, Superman and Batman.
Yeah.
And it's just like, and they do it, like, oh, you can't kill us. Goes against your superhero code.
Yeah, she's the one. I mean, I think once she got to Man's World, I think she got a little bit more cooler with it, with not killing. But for a while, she's like, I don't know these motherfuckers. They're all dead.
Yeah, exactly.
All these proto-Nazis are dead.
Yeah, exactly. These poor bastards didn't know what they signed up for.
We just signed up for the draft. They said it was the Great War. Hans was wrong. Nothing great about it.
This is what I say as I lay here with a broken back in the mud as mustard gas flies over my head and into my lungs.
As I'm kicked in the face by a half-naked woman. I think, why? I bring great shame upon my family.
Why even bother giving me a gun? It's pointless.
I would just like to watch like a very weird art house movie about like the one like German about a German soldier that did not really want to join the war but got talked into it.
He was like
went along like it's for the motherland.
The poor guy from like Austria who was like forced to get like signed up.
It's like it's for the fatherland, so they tell me. Oh, it's a lady in no armor. This will be easy. Oh no! It's the magic bracelets.
Well, I think what happens here is because then, like, Superman actually defeats Wonder Woman pretty much, and then Aquaman shows up, like, yo, and he comes, like, flying in, like, on an orca or something like that, like, skiing in behind it or something like that. I don't know what it was. They make it sound like it's a lot more epic than it almost needs to be, but sounds kind of cool at the same time.
Comes in, like, riding a seahorse, like it's a motorcycle, like, revs it up, like, boom, boom! Shoots fire out of its mouth or whatever the fuck.
It shoots some of that weird acid that like got Martian Manhunter. He's like, oh, don't mind that. That not the same one. Just saying. Sometimes they got.
I just like to imagine he's riding it like that thing, like it's a fucking like wave runner. Like it's just like it's tip of its tail, like just skipping the waves. Like.
But then it's like they have a scene where actually like Aquaman then fights Superman, which is kind of badass too.
Yeah, he definitely needs that. He definitely really needs that because the whole movie, he's like just not the whole movie.
It's like laying there like Wonder Woman, Princess, hold me. Barry, I know you're kind of annoying, but keep talking. It's entertaining, strangely.
By the way, I warmed up to the phrase Aquaman. I accept it.
Yeah. Hey Barry, do that thing where you phase through my toes. Feels kind of good.
Me feel happy.
Yeah, gives me this weird.
It's kind of like a massage on all of my molecules. And then from there, Talia then Talia she starts to merge with. I don't even think it's her plan originally. I think it just kind of happens. Like she merges with Brother Eye and becomes almost like Brainiac Talia.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. That part kind of threw me off. I was like, oh, that's kind of weird, but okay, I'll go along with it if that's what it is.
And this is where you have the narration: as Batman presses his human flesh lips up to her metal, his warm lips up to her cold metal lips. He looks at his love one last time, like that kind of shit. Like, all right, whatever. And he like strokes, so Talia basically merges with Brother Eye and dies. And out of that, I want to say Barry. This is where they do that thing where Barry moves so fast, he merges with the, basically just runs so fast, becomes nothing. Kind of like Crisis on the original Crisis on Infinite Earths. Mm-hmm. And I think he does that by, I want to say he has like whatever the metal, like I want to say he has the central core. I don't remember what it is exactly, but I want to think, because this is one of those points where it's a lot going on, or if you see it, it's like, oh, okay. But the description's like, wait, what? Like, I want to say he took the main motherboard OMAC or whatever and ran with it until there's nothing left, and he died in the process.
Yeah, because he had to break this, like, the speed barrier. Because he talks about that early on. It's like, hey, Barry, have you ever broke the speed barrier before? He's like, no. I think I might die if I do that. Huh. Well, keep that in mind. We might need that later.
And this is probably one of the nicest parts of the movie because he talks about the fastest he's ever gone. He says, when I do, it's actually very peaceful. And it's actually really nice. And I could just enjoy the world and not have to worry about everything collapsing in around me or whatever. And it's just a very small throwaway moment. It's at this moment he says when he's with the other members of the Justice League when they're all incapacitated. And then what he does is he breaks that moment. He knows he's about to die. And this is probably one of the most heartfelt moments. I think this is something that, even if a lot of people may have not liked this movie if it came out, I think this is still a moment people are like, all right, well, that moment was actually really touching. Mm-hmm. And he goes over to Iris. He goes to his front yard. Everything's frozen. Tells her, sorry, I had to break a promise, all this and that, and kisses her. And then as he leaves, just barely a tear starts to form in her eye.
Yeah.
So she kind of knows in some way he's there. Then he just steps out his front porch, looks at it one last time, and goes take care of what he has to do.
Yeah, and then he just runs until he breaks through the speed barrier or whatever, and it takes out the whole central process or whatever. He's like, if I break the speed barrier, it'll destroy all the psychics out there.
All these fucks reading palms, they're all gonna die. Small price to pay.
Yeah. So he just goes the distance, and
I just like to imagine somebody just like in a tent at like a state fair, just reading someone's palm. Their head just explodes. The fuck!
just explodes. People just walk out of that tent just shaking, and everything just covered in brains and blood and gore.
All the psychics in the world died, but good news, the world didn't just get destroyed, so small price to pay.
Yeah, exactly.
We can all Google this shit about what we read on our palm, right?
But yeah, so he does that, and then that just sort of like ends it all almost. And it's just like, oh, Barry had to sacrifice himself, and then they have this big old Justice League funeral or whatever.
We forgot to mention Wally West joins the fight, and he's wearing kind of like a proto outfit, like a little thing he slapped together. And he even says, like, I could be Flash Jr., Little Flash, Kid Flash, I don't know. Oh, there it is.
Yeah. I don't know.
And you find out that he's the one in the Flash outfit at the end of the in the funeral, and it ends on this note of like what we like. It's like, okay, I guess we're gonna have to start making this more of a thing. And then they're all getting ready, like, hey, we got an incoming message coming in. Like, looks like this is one where they're really reaching. But I'm just glad they still have this moment. It's like, oh, that's kind of another deep cut too. Like, there's something coming in. Looks kind of like a starfish with tentacles.
Aquaman's like, whoa! You just don't put the blame on me again.
That thing is from space. This is more like Clark's friend. Don't assume it's my friend.
We didn't say anything. You just...
I'm sorry, just preemptive. Just
not used to being part of a team. Used to being king where everybody serves me and fish nibble at my toes.
Massages. All right, Arthur, whatever. And then, like, they're going in. Actually, we forgot to mention, Batman's like, are we going to be part of this Justice League? Aye. Like, Wally's like, I don't know. I'm not Barry. Yes, you're not Barry, but fuck him. He's dead. You're here now. Like, okay. You're the speedster. We got another guy dressed as red. Like, okay, yeah, I am in. And
then Batman's like, fuck it, no. And you're like, what do you mean? You want to be part of the team? He's like, well, you guys are all awesome and you got cool powers and I'm just rich. It's just all I am. Smart.
I just imagine like just his head down, arms behind his back, just like kicks a rock. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
No one likes me.
I'm just brooding, and I mean, I got a boy as a partner who's now a man. Yeah.
But I still call him boy. He doesn't like that. Doesn't return my text.
Yeah, he says he's man-winged now, and that his hairy chest is hairier than mine, and it's kind of just weird competition.
He's kind of right. Oh, so I guess that's why I borrowed your phone. I just got suddenly a text of a guy named Dick with a hairy chest.
That's when the guy...
It just said winning. I don't know. I thought it was a Charlie Sheen thing you guys had going on. I don't know. It's 2009. We can't forget.
It's the same guy at the birthday party who's questioning the Alfred thing. He finds the phone that goes off and sees that picture. He's like, I don't want to be, making judgments here, but I mean, how many people get that picture?
I don't see a face. I just see a hairy ass chest.
Yeah.
It's by a guy named Dick. But no, Batman's all like, oh, well, no one... He's just like... And Superman's like, well, if we need the day, we also need the night. Like, oh, really?
No.
All right.
Because they all fly up.
Credits.
Just like... Wally West goes behind Batman and goes on all fours, and Aquaman pushes him over.
Aquaman just like hops on Wally West's back and he runs away with him like he's a fucking backpack.
But yeah, no, it has a moment that, like, it probably, once again, like, if you're watching it, you'd be like, oh, okay, I kind of get it. It's Batman's just saying, like, I'm just a man. And
I'm not super. I'm maybe a hero, but I'm not super. And then they're just like, you know what? You're cool. I know it's kind of your fault that everyone almost died, but yeah, come on. It's cool. We don't gonna judge. We're like, oh, awesome. And then from there, they get a call in that Starro is attacking. And then here's one thing. It's like, I guess they got to get the name in there. That's like Wally West's like, oh, looks like Starro here is sure angry. He's like, all right, that's kind of a reach, but all right. And then I guess the final shot of it is them heading off into space. I guess like a distant shot of Starro coming in, and you just see like a distant shot of them in space. I'm guessing maybe Batman in a jet, and then Wonder Woman, Green Lantern, Martian Manhunter, and Superman like flying in or whatever.
Well, because the cool thing about that, though, is then it would have like probably the look of like the very first Justice League cover.
Yeah.
So that's why I think that I'm like, that actually is pretty cool. I'm surprised nobody's really done that yet. You know what I mean? Plus, the thing about using Starro, I feel like, is it gives it that, like, because, mostly always, like, the DC movies have always been kind of, like, grounded in reality-type characters. It doesn't really matter which one it is. By throwing in Starro, you get that really fucking weird, like, outer space.
I want for them fighting Starro.
Yeah.
He doesn't even be the main villain, but he'd be cool. It's kind of like, you know what?
It'd be for Justice League 2, if there was one after it, that was the very beginning of the movie, was them fighting Starro.
Or it's like, or if it was, like, something kind of like Guardians of the Galaxy 2. Like, the very opening of the movie, they find that octopus thing, like... Maybe the next Justice League movie, like, it's just the first fight of the movie. We just beat this guy, we move on to the real thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what I mean. It'd be a perfect, like, intro kind of battle,
Not having, like, Green Lantern dance to, like...
Dun, dun, dun. Just like I know, it sounds like the intro to Guardians of the Galaxy 2 now.
Not like having him to Electric Light Orchestra or something like that.
Mr.
Like,
Blue.
John, get back in the fight! He's fucking dancing. Construct something, John!
Everybody's getting thrown around and stuff in the background.
Like, I don't know, he just jumps up and, like, right, like, in that one part, the bam, 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 he just jumps up, like, clicks his heels, like, freeze frame, like, Justice League 2. The sun is shining in the night. Super upbeat movie. They really do whatever they can to scrub away the dark, brooding Snyderverse thing.
Yeah. Well, this is kind of funny here. I like in the script with the Batman part where, like, he's leaving because it's like that, where it's just like, where Superman's like, this isn't the time to get back to your cave to work alone. It's not that. Batman looks down all sad. Don't belong here with you. All of you. You have powers. You have cool shit.
You just shade all that.
Just like laying down. Oh, I'm not the Batman. It's just a mask I wear. He pulls off the mask. He's like, yeah, I'm Bruce Wayne. I'm rich. I'm fucking sexy. That's all I got. I have one weakness though. I'm human. And Talia says I don't love. She's right.
I can't.
I tried
I'm too
it
damn
once.
rich to love.
Well, I tried it many a times, actually. Because you know what Dad always said? Can't try something once, and no boy of mine will ever fail, so I kept trying it for Dad's sake. And this little Superman's like, no, Bruce. That's your strength. Our strength. Feel the super cock.
Feel it. Suddenly a super orgy breaks out amongst what was once a quiet fortress of solitude is now a base of moans.
And Starro just lands on top and just starts humping away right before the credits roll.
It just goes into that fucking very wordy narration in this. Yeah, no, so final thoughts on this. I liked it, but when I first heard the initial story and heard the major beats, I thought I'd like it a lot more. At the end of the day, I actually like the Zack Snyder movie we got. I think that if Zack Snyder got to actually make the movie he really wanted to make, I think we would have got something better. But compared to what I'm reading here, like, I think this has the potential to be better than the Zack Snyder movie we got. All that being said, though, I think I still like the Zack Snyder movie more than this.
Well, here's the thing. It's like, I fucking love the Zack Snyder movie already. Like, that to me is one of the most perfect made superhero movies out there. I know, contrary to popular belief to everybody else seems like, but I think that movie's just super dialed in. This one's just, what I like about this one though is it just has some kind of like ballsy kind of interesting choices that I feel like, granted, if this movie was made, you know that some of the stuff would be kind of probably cut out. You know, like certain characters and certain references. I feel like that's like in a script and it's kind of cool, but you know that when the movie was kind of said and done, I'd be kind of surprised if some of these things were still in here. But like to see it,
I'm just wondering. Go ahead, sorry.
I was gonna say, just to see it with like the entire Justice League, you got Martian Manhunter, you got everybody in here, because Martian Manhunter's the guy who gets fucking shoehorned out nowadays. Like, don't get me wrong, I love Cyborg and all, but like, can't we have room for Martian Manhunter too? Even if he's just serving fucking drinks somewhere? I mean, like, that's fine with me.
Yeah, I think that I like the idea of opening up on a movie, and these characters have already been doing it for a while, and you don't need these heavy, in-depth exposition of how they got there, what they are. I'm okay with that. I just think there are some weird choices. I think the weirdest choice is a lot of these characters are incapacitated or fucked up for more than half the movie, it seems. And there's not really a big action scene. I mean, okay, yeah, Martian Manhunter catching on fire, which is kind of funny. And, like, driving his car.
The best part is he's driving down the road. Like, that to me just makes it 10 times. It's literally like that scene in Lord of the Rings where that guy's son in the third movie, like, is pretty much getting burned, like, at a funeral, and then he gets up and he's on fire. That's funny enough.
The guy reaches for his son, and then he catches on fire, then runs down.
Then he just runs, and he's running on fire, and that's super fucking funny. But then to top it all off, they find a way. He jumps off, like, the tallest building in all of, like, Middle Earth, and that makes it extraordinarily funny. That was the part I laughed for, like, 10 minutes.
Shot of it. No, but, like, the whole thing is, I just think it seems kind of, weird that this is the first time you're shown a lot of these characters. This could be a lot of people's first time you see these characters. Yeah, nearly everybody knows Batman, Wonder Woman, and Superman, and this would have been Wonder Woman's first time on screen, big screen.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it just feels weird that their first choice is to have them knocked down. Like, I think it's more of a sequel movie. Or you could have maybe a Tower of Babel-esque story where they're being attacked, but they're not incapacitated for the whole time. You know what I mean? So Tower of Babel is a good way to bring everyone together. At the exact same time, though, I think there's a better way to keeping the characters out of action for a very long time. And then there's also just like the weird choices of just like Aquaman's scared of water for a minute, and Green Lantern doesn't really do anything until he helps pull the bug out of Aquaman's head or whatever. And then, you know, he does some cool shit fighting at the end. Like, I think they really give Green Lantern and Aquaman the bench for a good portion of this movie.
Yeah.
But all that being said, but I think it's a ballsy choice to focus on a main character and then kill him off and then pass it on to his sidekick for his future movies. That's an interesting concept, and I like that. That's actually because you don't expect that. And they do a good bait and switch thing with someone's dead. Batman's not there at the funeral. What's up? Oh, wait, he is there. He was just the last one to drop. It's like, sorry I'm late, guys. Here's a rose.
Yeah, one of those ones there, too. And, I guess they get across in the script. I don't know if they wanted you to make you think that maybe Batman was dead at the beginning. I'm not too sure if that...
I feel like they did, because they said everybody but Batman is there. Yeah. And there's a funeral.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know if they're kind of hinting at that's what they want you to think for some reason, though he shows up, like, not that far off from now. But I think for the most part, it's like I think the end of the script is actually like really strong. Like because I could just see that being just a totally badass action scene. I do think it's the fact that like for the longest time they literally do like the Ninja Turtles thing, but like because even in Ninja Turtles 1, like, don't get me wrong, like I love that movie a lot, but I always thought that they are up there at that cabin or whatever for a little bit of time. It's not that it's boring or anything like that, and I know they're trying to find their way, and it has that kind of metaphor going on. But
it feels like they're like, you know, like we got to get Raphael clean. We got to get him off the shit. You know, that's kind of what it feels. He's the one in the pool, in the hot, like in the fucking bathtub the whole time. Just saying, it's okay, man. It's okay.
Leo's sitting there to make sure he doesn't get up and try to run back to the city. Try to hitch a ride back with some dirty hippies. They'll get him.
I'm just calling Tony V. Tony V's your dealer. No, man, he's straight. He's clean. Just stay, man. Just stay. No!
And that's how it feels like in this one. It's like, maybe the thing, too, it's like, I kind of get that you want to kind of take out each character, but they almost all get kind of taken out by the weird little nanobots. That's the kind of the weird part there. It almost feels like you got all these superheroes and they're getting taken out. I mean, I guess that's kind of the thing. It's like, shit, they're superheroes, and guess what takes them out? A fucking mosquito robot.
Mosquito robot or just weird situation. Yeah, it's one of those things. I liked it and I enjoyed it, but it's not like I thought I was gonna like it a lot more. When I first heard the concepts and what they were planning to do, I was initially like, you know what, that sounds better than what we got. Then I read it and like, well, things would have changed. And I've said this before, and I'm not the only one to say it, but it's like I think you could actually have an okay script, but then be made into a good movie with the right direction and right production. You know what I mean? I think it's easier to save a bad script with good directing and everything else. I'm not saying the script's bad. It's a little clunky, and I'm not sure if this is the first draft or how many drafts they got through before, because they were like weeks away from filming. They're like gonna like I think Adam Brody said in an interview, he was on Smodcast one time. I think he said they were like 2 weeks away from starting to film, and then they just
pulled the plug.
Stopped. They pulled the plug because they didn't want it to contradict with Dark Knight Rises and then other DC projects, because they were like, okay, so here's what's going to happen. We're going to have these DC movies and whatever they happen, and then we're going to have one that's own separate universe that's connected to everything. So, and like that doesn't sound like a bad idea, but it's one of those things where not a perfect script, but definitely an enjoyable script.
Yeah, and I'm thinking it's probably a pretty later day script, anyways, because it doesn't come across like like an early draft script. It definitely kind of feels like something that was a little bit more thought out and kind of doctored up and so on as time went on. But yeah, it's one of those. I think this is the one thing that's kind of missing in there. I think they just needed one real strong villain, because they just kind of had like thinking villains. They really needed like somebody else in there just to be like the force. And I think that like instead of having everybody kind of getting taken out by like mosquitoes and nanobots and robots and shit like that, somebody should have got just taken out by just a straight up fight. You know what I mean?
Yeah. The three villains they had was essentially OMAC, which is more or less kind of like an Ultron like villain minus the personality. And then you have Maxwell Lord and Talia.
Yeah.
And I think is Brother Eye, is that some weird deep cut villain? I'm gonna actually look that up real quick. I'm curious if Brother Eye.
I almost want to say that's what they called Batman's like computer thing. And,
Brother Eye.
Shit, and
Brother Eye DC.
But
yeah, okay, yeah, that's kind of that is like the computer that makes OMAC and that kind of thing. So yeah, okay, that's a thing, but at the same time, though, you don't really. So it's kind of like an Ultron, like satellite type deal. All right, so.
Yeah, I just feel like that's all they really needed was just maybe one other thing, because I just feel, yeah, just to kind of have maybe just to diverse it up, just instead of everybody just being like infected.
Essentially, I've seen this character before. I don't know it super well, but I've seen it before. But it's like, essentially looks like Starro if he was a satellite.
Oh, okay. But, yeah. No, I think overall it is an interesting one, and if it did play out, I think it still would have been pretty sweet, because it's sometimes like, yeah, you kind of read it, but then once you finally see it, once it's made, it's kind of a little bit different, because, scripts are always kind of one of those ones, like, they're not like as, I feel like a script is never like nearly like as complete as, say, like if somebody made a comic book or if somebody made like a novel. Like a script just has to get the point across almost, and then you're going to add the rest in as you kind of make it. You know what I mean? Like it feels like scripts aren't like nearly like as golden unless you're like one of those directors that follows it by the script and like doesn't stray away from it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because it seems like, as always, people are always changing their scripts along the way. It's kind of weird when people do that. It's like, I don't know, I've always kind of learned, like, when I write scripts, I like to have my script solid. And once my script's solid, I don't change it really too much from that point on. Like, I keep it pretty much, like, 99% locked in. It's just like, no, this is how we go. This is what's going on.
There are times where I kind of know what you mean and don't want to go too much on the way we do shit or anything, but there are times where I'd be working on something, and, like, I really like this character that I made. And I'm like, you know what? I put too much detail in this guy, and I don't want to draw this much detail every single time I got to bring this character in the scene. So guess what? He dies in the next scene. I'll have someone else carry this plot point on.
Yeah. You know, but yeah, for mostly for my stuff, it's always like I keep it like once the script's kind of solid, it really doesn't change. I mean, every once in a while I might go, I can probably reword this maybe a little bit better, or I can make this a little bit more funnier or something like that. But beyond like that, you know, for the most part, it's like it's there, it's good to go. Where like whenever you hear about some of those things, like I always feel like I know it's kind of going off tangent, but like Alien 3, where like they're changing the script like every single day, it's like the fuck are you changing the script every single day? It's fucking Alien 3, you know what I mean? Like how fucking hard is it? Like what, you can't follow like what the alien's doing? Like shit, come on.
It tries to fucking kill shit.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, why does that script need to change? Like, all the like that to me is always so goofy whenever you hear that kind of stuff. I mean, I get if there's like maybe like, oh, something happens, like this actor died halfway through production. Oh shit, we got to kind of rewrite this around. That makes sense. But beyond that, like,
well, that something like Alien 3 sounds as more like just too many producers in the kitchen, and they all kind of need to put their stamp so they could say that was my idea. I did that too. Or you know, writers, producers, whatever.
Well, yeah, and that mostly always is kind of the case, is that you get too many people's hands in the cookie jar, and everybody wants a fucking cookie. And, you know,
I'm just mentioning a bunch of suits, just like,
I want a cookie. This guy just puts his whole head in there, like, you can't get it now, can't get it now. It's just like a glass jar, his face just sticking out.
Then he suffocates and dies. They're all pointing and laughing at him.
And then one guy goes up and hits him with like a hammer, and then starts grabbing the cookies out of there. But yeah, I think that's kind of what was the problem. But I do think that this Justice League one would be kind of a neat one. See, this would be like one of those projects where I just feel like one's like this would be a cool thing for DC just to do, just to like a kind of like a what if thing. Just make a comic book of it. You know what I mean? That wouldn't cost you any money, really, as far as DC's concerned. Because here's the thing. At the end of the day, like, what? You're going to hire 5 guys to put this together? You know what I mean? You pay 5 guys to put this together. You know, you could stretch it out for, like, a year if you want to, make it 12 issues.
It's not like you're hiring, like, you know, Scott Snyder or Tom King or Jeff Johns.
You would get him for issue. You'd get him for like maybe not writer wise. You would
get Jim Lee to put out some issues.
Couple covers.
Jim Lee's not gonna. He's gonna get Jim Lee for covers. Jim Lee's not gonna draw all this shit. Fuck that.
Yeah, but you know, like this is.
I'd love it if he did, but he barely ever does a whole book now. I mean, he just does covers and then editorials.
Yeah. So it's like one of those ones like you literally could just get like the row C of DC like artists put together, because once again you already got the script and so on, and just do that, because I think that's one of the coolest things is you see that happens with like kind of more like scripts for like things like, you know, like they did it like Kevin Smith's like Green Hornet and so on, but like they're always kind of things that are like even more obscure. Like something like this feels like Warner Brothers, you have this, DC, you have this, why not just do it? And because you're just gonna sell it as we're doing it. This is just a script in comic book form. You know what I mean? Like.
Wouldn't be interesting? What if they just did it like they did like some of these unproduced like movies as DC Universe movies?
Yeah.
I mean, I know they already kind of did a Power of Babel movie with Justice League Doom, but I mean, might as well just say, hey, here is the animated version of a script that never got made.
Yeah, I just feel like there's a lot of selling point to that, because I think even people that maybe never even knew about the script, but if you kind of sold it like this, it'd be like, you know, here's in a sense, the unproduced script getting turned into either a comic book or an animated movie. I think there'd be a lot of more interest in this than you'd think.
Yeah, I mean, imagine if they did that with the Superman Lives scripts.
Yeah, like that one too, because that one has like the biggest talk of them all. Like, you know what I mean? Most people know what that is, even if they have no idea really who Superman is at the end of the day. So, I just feel there is a lot of neat things that could be done with these kind of unproduced scripts, especially when it comes to things like, you know, like a Justice League one. Like, why not? Like, what do you got to lose? I mean, you've only made like, you know, 1,000+ Justice League stories before. What's one more that you can just kind of turn to a comic or an animated one even? But I don't know. Cool stuff. Definitely one of those ones. Like, I will say, I still thought it was pretty good. You know, but it wasn't like the Jurassic. The Jurassic Park one was just kind of like interesting and okay.
Jurassic Park was just okay. This one was good, but not perfect. I just liked it.
Wasn't Mario Brothers perfect? That one holds.
Mario Brothers script, that was surprise. I mean, I figured I'd like it, but that was like, oh my god, this is like so. I really like that script a lot. The original script for that movie. I mean, I like the movie we got fine. I love that.
That's one of my favorite movies of all time.
But that script though, just it's kind of like if the production matches if the production quality matched that script, the quality of that script, I think you'd have probably like, oh, this is like a starting off pretty strong for your first video game movie.
Yeah, exactly. You know, but yeah, fun stuff to be had. we'll find more scripts along the way that are always neat ones. There's so many cool stuff out there. But till then, you can always check out oldmanorange.com for more podcasts, comics, movies, music, all that fun stuff. Pizza Boys issue 7 is out there. Find it, through oldmanorange.com, but it's on Comix Central, Amazon Kindle, and soon to be on Comixology, well, when it gets to that point. But till then, I'm Spencer Scott Holmes.
And I'm Ryan Dunigan.
We'll see you some other time.
Later, folks.
Thanks again for listening to the Old Man Orange podcast. Sure, check out oldmanorange.com for more podcasts, cartoons, music, animation, and a whole lot more. We also have the Old Man Orange blog going with all kinds of fun stuff. If you easily want to support the show, use one of our Amazon links either on the website or in the description of the podcast below. Rate, review, and subscribe to the show either on Podbean, iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, Newgrounds, or anywhere else that you seem to get this podcast from. Grab the sitcom-styled comic book Pizza Boys on either Comix Central, Comixology, or Amazon. Want more podcasts? Check out the Indie Comics Club over at Comix Central. I also got a workout website called Thor's Hidden Gym, filled with fitness tips and tricks, videos, and a whole lot more fun stuff in the calisthenics world. Talk to us on Twitter at Spencer S. Holmes and Dunigan Ryan. Like our Facebook pages of Old Man Orange Productions and Pizza Boys Comic. Thanks again, we're out of here.